Big Cam, let's go! What's up, everybody? It's HTG Brian, and I can't believe it. It's already January 2023 Game Break Day. As you guys know, we generally have the game break at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is a lot later than right now. But due to some things I had going on and just a random thought I had, I wondered if it would be smarter or better for everybody if I did it early. So we had a poll yesterday on our stream, and it was fairly close, honestly. I think there was like 27 votes or something like that, and it was like 55 to 45. So it barely won. There was definitely some people that preferred it to be later. And I think some people are just getting off work and getting home and things like that, while other people have, been at home all day. So everybody's varies. The good news is that there is the video on demand, meaning that you guys would be able to watch this later, which is good. Now, I've got an agenda. I've got some things going on. I just wanted to kind of hang out on big cam mode for a hot second, though. Just sort of testing some things out, if I'm being honest, because I set this up a while ago, and then I didn't really use it. And then I always have this like last minute, like, oh yeah, let's do it. And then I forget to do it. So today, I actually had some extra time this morning. I wasn't getting harassed by that graphic design project. Sorry, babe. So I ended up having a little bit extra time this morning. So I figured I'd make it work, and here in a second, I will go ahead and hit the button, and we'll switch over. As normal with the game breaks, we're not going to say hey to everybody. Most of you I've been hanging out with already. I do want to point out something. Okay, let me say this. If you know, don't say it, okay? If you are here and you already know, do not say it in the chat. Okay? I know someone's going to ruin this. But there's something new and different about this stream. Something was added that had not been here before. And I'm curious who will figure it out. And if I swear, Chacho or Raised or there's a few of you. I'm just kidding, of course. But don't ruin it. But there is something new. And I think you guys will find it kind of fun. Maybe. All right, so big cam mode works, right? Y'all can hear me and all that stuff, right? Everything's good? Everything's good? All right, let's go ahead and transition over to regular game break. Oh, it actually worked! What? Let's see here. Whoops, push that button. Here we go. Game break. All right. So now we're officially over in the good stuff. So as per usual, we're going to start off with, or welcome back. That's right. It's 2023. This graphic's been in existence for about 6 years. Haven't changed it. And every month I say I'm going to. Maybe one of these days I will actually get around to changing that. Let's talk YouTube stats real quick. I've been saying this for days, and ironically, the stats had plummeted a little bit when I took this screenshot, which was like 2 or 3 days ago. As you guys can see, in the last 28 days, the channel has accrued over 1,500 subs, so 1,500 new faces, new peoples. We've got almost, we're getting fairly close. At one point, we were at 976, so we were really close to hitting that 1 million in the last 20 days again. Like I said, it had dropped a little bit, and we're down in the 922. But let's see here. Just to put things into perspective here, let me go and pull last month's stuff up here. You guys won't be able to see it, but I'll at least be able to verbalize it to you. Let's see here. Is this it right here? That cannot be it. No, those are. Why is that not? Things are not where they should be, Brian. Oh wait, I'm in the wrong folder. That explains a lot. Let's see here. I should have had this ready, but I didn't. December 2022. Okay, here we go. 2022 stats. All right, so for December, we had 1,472 subs, so we have a little bit of an increase over that. View-wise, though, for December, views 848,000. Okay, so you can see on the new graphic 922, and that's actually sort of a low point considering we had 3 or 4 days before I took that graphic. It was higher. 848. That's like 80,000 views more, right? 80,000 views more. And then you got watch time hours. Last month we were at 47.1. This month we're at 51. So that's another, what, 4,000-ish? 4,500-ish watch time hours, not minutes, seconds, hours. That's a lot of hours. There's a lot of minutes in an hour if you think about it. Finances, though, are literally like down like 45-50% from last month. I don't know what's going on. I'm feeling like it has something to do with the shorts and the money pool being split amongst the two different types of content. So I might have to pull my foot out of my mouth and actually make some stupid shorts. I don't really want to do that, but I might. And, you know, in the past, I haven't actually spoke to Tony, a.k.a. Megabeard. Shout out to Megabeard, in a minute or two. But we've talked about all sorts of different possibilities, you know, maybe even him helping with creating some shorts, me maybe using HTG TV as my shorts channel. You know, we've talked about a lot of different options, and certainly I appreciate input from people who have experience or, you know, have been doing this for a while. And so it's nice that I have somebody to kind of chat and bounce some ideas off of. But, you know, even, you know, when you look at the actual, there's a spot on YouTube, you can go to money and it breaks down. You got all these things, memberships and different areas, right? But you can actually funnel it all the way down to the CPM, which is basically the easiest way to explain it would be like the minimum wage, right? So instead of hours, we're talking views or ads placed. And so that's kind of the difference there. The metric is different, but it's still the same principle. You run so many views with ads in place, and you get so much money based on the actual hourly wage or the CPM. And CPM's actually been plummeting like crazy. I've been watching it. Like normally this time of year, it's anywhere from $7 to $12, right? It's at like $5 right now, and it's going down. So, you know, when you figure like repetitions and it's all a numbers game, right? Like it's hurting channels, not just me. I see it on other channels too. And I've mentioned this in the past that, boy, if this keeps trending like this for another couple months, it's going to be really tough for me to have my family looking at me when payday comes around and there's like no money, right? Because I'm still working every day. I'm still streaming. I'm still uploading videos. I'm still doing work. The old videos are still getting views. I'm just not seeing the same sort of stuff. Now, I even sort of shared some specifics with a couple of people last night, and I wish I would have recorded the responses because they were like, oh, seriously? And I was like, yeah. Like, I normally don't talk or try to, you know, but like just kind of layman's basic idea. Last year at this time, I ran almost the exact same numbers as far as views, watch time, and all that. I mean, I could go look, but I don't want to waste too much of your time doing irrelevant research. But essentially, I was really close to where I'm at this month. My check is literally 1/4 of what it was last year. Could you, I mean, so numbers, that works the same, everything's the same, like views higher, 1/4. Come on, YouTube. I love you, man. You've helped me support my family for a long time, and I'd love to keep doing it, and I will. So that's kind of something I wanted to segue into, is that if that dirty day actually happens and I have to go and supplement and do something else, my goal is to for sure not just drop YouTube and forget about it, as it will be some sort of a monetary bonus for me if I do have to get a 9-to-5 job again. So I still will upload and do stuff. And whenever a Lego game comes out, you know we'll cover it. And this is by no means me saying this is over. This is just me sort of laying the future grounds for possibilities, because there's going to be a couple of paths, and I'm going to have to choose one at some point. And for now, we're still good. And I'm going to wait till the end of next month because we've got a new system in place. We've got new potential revenue with the shorts being involved. And I actually recorded a couple of clips the other day that I plan on making into a short. I've got a couple of ideas for some other possible shorts, you know, and I mean, I certainly don't see myself turning into a short channel, but at some point I'm going to have to sort of follow the money. And I know that's a crappy thing to say or a weird thing, because ultimately this has always been about helping people and interacting with people. But at the end of the day, I still need to feed my family and pay my bills. So we're figuring it out. We're definitely figuring it out. And I appreciate all of you that continue to hang out, watch, all the new people that we've met, all the new guides that are being viewed. Like, there's a lot of people that are watching, Lego Movie for the first time. And that was 6-7 years ago, right? So there's definitely a lot of positive things to talk about and momentum that we are carrying. I mean, with our numbers being up and everything, that's awesome. And it's you guys that are supporting us doing it. YouTube just needs to figure out what the crap they're doing so we can get back on track. That's the goal anyways. And there's a lot of things too, like a lot of people have lost. So here's another thing. So just thinking about money. Okay, so here's my theory. YouTube has had this giant, let's just say a pot of gold, right? A giant pot of gold for the last, 10, 15 years. That pot of gold has been sort of distributed to anybody who meets certain requirements. So if you're monetized, you've met all the YouTube stuff, you're good to go, then the CPM sort of determines how much money you get based on how many ads you ran and how much, right? So it's all been a system. Now they're creating shorts and they're monetizing shorts. And the money has, I believe, gone like this. So I think we have two pots of gold now that are not nearly as big as the original one. And I think that because of me being in the long form content and not doing much shorts, I'm not seeing any of this revenue. And I think advertisers are having to choose between, okay, we got a $500 budget per month. Do we want to put it all in long form content where we've been? Or do we want to go to the shorts where it's going? Or do we want to split it and do halvesies? Boss says we can't do double downs. We got to make a choice. This is pure speculation too, I want to say. Like, this is just Brian's brain trying to come up with some sort of relevant reason why my numbers are up, but the money is down. And I'm hoping that's right because I still will have a chance to dip my toes into that shorts pool and potentially benefit from that as well. So, meanwhile, if you guys are bored, you're looking for something to do, watching an HTG video would help your boy out. So, all that being said, let's go ahead and move on from stats. I do want to go ahead and hit the Twitter button. Let's see here. Let me make sure I got it right before I do it. Oh yeah, I gotta put this in there. And another thing that YouTube did, and this is minimal, and there is a solution. There are steps that I could take that would fix this, but I don't want to have to do more steps. So YouTube changed the way that their linking policies happen. So when I would go and share this stream, I'd click the share button and a bunch of share a link options pop up. Twitter, Skype, Facebook, email, WhatsApp, Pinterest. There's a whole bunch of them, right? But below that, there's a video link and you can click a little copy button and it copies the link. For some reason, they've changed their structure in the way that live videos are presented, that it now adds about 15 extra characters. So it now has a question mark and then feature equals share. Again, I don't know how many that is. It's roughly 15 characters. Here's the problem I have with that. Twitter is limited to so many characters. And now I'm going to post a link and Twitter doesn't remove that link from the characters posted. That's part of your characters. So now I have less characters I can use for my tweet. Not a big deal, but also affecting creators. So maybe they're just trying to phase out the old Twitter. I don't know. But speaking of Twitter, hopefully people will see that and maybe come pay us a visit. All right, so I'm going to try to do this in chronological order because there is a handful of small events, we'll call them, things that I wanted to talk about today. And I think I've got them in a pretty logical order. We'll have to wait and see though. So first, what's up? I see some people showing up. Brian asks, how's my brain? So far, so good. You know how it can be. The old man Brian Brain has his ups and downs. Adam says YouTube is so picky. You are correct. Oh, and here's another thought that I had too. So there's that pool of money, right? The pot of gold that we were calling it. Even if it's split into twosies, right? A policy just changed about 10 days ago and it freaked people out because a lot of people cuss on their YouTube videos. If you guys have noticed, I'm known for being a pretty bad sailor mouth in real life. Like I have my wife is very disappointed in my speech choices. I know when and where to use those though, right? So I have loose lips and I also have smart thoughts. Does that make sense? No. I don't have any smart thoughts. I'm waiting for Nom to come in and be like, lies, lies. The thing is that a lot of people have had videos that have been online for months, years, whatever, and they cuss in them. And they're now demonetizing a lot of those videos. So there's like this new interval. I believe it's 45 seconds. Kirsten and I were talking about it yesterday. She thought it was 15. I've heard 30. I swear I read 45. May not be any of those. But the point is there is a certain amount of threshold, if you will, of how much time they look for. They don't want people like cussity cuss at the intro of their video, right? They're demonetizing those because the advertisers don't necessarily want to associate with that. It's not a matter of like, oh, cussing is bad. It's just that like when, you know, macaroni and cheese commercials come on, they don't want, as soon as it goes off, to be like F-F-ity F-F-F and blah, blah, right? Like, everybody's got opinions, everybody's got choices and words, but advertisers don't necessarily want to be attached to that. And with the system, YouTube tries to prevent those moments. So I understand it. And for what it's worth, I feel like had I have actually cussed a lot more in my videos, I would probably be more popular. And I say that because with cussing, I feel I'm funnier. I'm probably not, but I do feel like there's certain words and certain things that I can bring to a conversation or a statement that are funnier when I use curse words, but I don't. And so like, if you go way back to the beginning of HTG, please don't, because I'll probably get demonetized. There's a lot of videos with Jeremy, and I'm not pointing any fingers here, but Jeremy was a lot looser lipped than I was. And the reason for that is that I had recently, right before we started Happy Thumbs, I actually was privileged enough. Oh, Emery found it. Emery found it. I was privileged enough to be taken under the wing of somebody fairly famous. You guys probably don't know who it is, but there was a show that PlayStation ran. It was a reality show that they ran on their PlayStation network. I don't know that it ever made it to actual network TVs or anything, but it was called The Tester. The Tester had season 1, huge hit. Everybody downloaded it for free and watched it, and they actually brought it back for season 2. When season 2 started, they actually had a contest to see who would potentially be in this show. Long story short, you guys, I actually was in the running all the way into the top 6. There was like 200,000 people that applied for this. And I campaigned for like 3 months doing this. Sadly, the original website is no longer around, so all the clips, I made tons of videos and stuff that was uploading because I had like a profile and people were supporting me and voting. It was a vote-based system, and this was before Happy Thumbs, and it was like my life. Like, that's all I wanted. I wanted to be on this show so bad, you guys. Reese was like 2 years old. Like, I was willing to leave Jillian and Reese for like 2 weeks to go shoot this show in California and potentially become famous. Now, the winner of the tester got to go on and be a tester for Sony. Like, there's a couple of people that didn't even win that got to be involved in jobs in the industry. And Will Powers was the guy that won the first one. Now, it came down to a guy and a girl for first place in season 1. The person that got voted out before that, so basically the third place, right? His name was Doc. And somehow Urgent Fury, the company that I used to work for, knew Doc. And Doc actually coached me while I was doing all my videos. I was flat. I didn't have any expression. I didn't know what I was doing. And honestly, there's probably a lot of how I interact with you guys now that goes back to Doc. I don't want to give him credit. He's kind of an arse, but at the same time, I love him for what he did for me, right? Like, he would literally be like, you know how I talk about being blunt and how I've ruined friendships and stuff? This dude is the epitome of that too. He was like, dude, you're not funny. You're not showing you. Smile, dude. Put up, like, hey, put some emphasis on it. Like, make it pop. Like, quit being so boring. Like, he let me have it. And as a result, I do feel like a lot of how I interact with people, especially in live situations or even on my videos, I do feel like a lot of that was pulled straight out of Doc's arsenal. It's funny. I called him an arse, and I said it's his arsenal. At least I'm consistent. No, Doc is not. I say that because of how he reacts and interacts, and some of the stuff too. Like, there's been a few things that he and I don't agree on, and but that doesn't matter, right? Like, I'm not one of those people that shuts out relationships or whatever because of that. So, anyways, Jeremy used a little bit looser lips than I did, and I ultimately feel like that's because of Doc. Jeremy never had that. Jeremy didn't run for it. Jeremy did lots of other things, but wasn't involved with the tester. So anyways, I see you guys found, that's awesome. You found the cutie emoji. I literally busted that out in like 10 minutes. So it may get a revision at some point. I mean, it works. It works. And the shot was actually the other way. And I didn't know if Drek should be looking this way and Cutie should be looking this way, or if they both should be looking that way, right? So I flipped Cutie to make, and so now she has like a little stash, and it sort of looks like a very, very bad person's mustache from a long time ago. And so Mike's going to see it and be like, what? Yeah, there it is. Yep. Kirsten's got it. All right. So moving along, jumping. We talked about a bunch of stuff that wasn't even on my list. So, all right, let's go back to January, the beginning of January, this month. I was scrolling on my phone, and this cookie place popped up. I was like, man, them look like some good cookies. Scrolled on, right? I clicked on it. So Facebook was like, oh, you want some cookies? We'll feed this ad to you again later. A couple hours later, I'm scrolling through. Boom, cookies. It's a different ad, so I open it. I'm like, whoa, they got s'mores cookies and stuff. And so then, like, when Jillian gets home, we're hanging out, we're scrolling. Like, hey, I know you love crumble. Look at this place. And this place is actually in Albany, which is only like 20 minutes away. So we actually made plans. We're like, let's go there on Saturday. And as it turns out, Albany is actually where our friend Justin, who is a daily viewer and watches tons of our content behind the scenes, it's where him and his family live. And so he's got a son and a daughter who also interact with us quite often. And so I made it a point to reach out to him and let him know that we were coming down. And so he made it all work with his kids, and they actually met us at this cookie place called the Cookie Plug. Now, if I'm being honest, I am not really as photographic as I used to be. Like, I used to be like everywhere, right? I'd take pictures of my food, everything. I don't do that anymore. Not really. And I feel bad. Like, Reese is 18 now. I'm really actually pissed at my parents. And I actually had a pretty heated conversation with my dad the other night. Not really anger, but like passive aggressive, like, how? And then like 2 days later, I was at my grandma's, his mother, and I was asking her about this same era of my childhood. Like, do you have any pictures of that? Because there's like this 10 or 12 year period of my life that just does not exist. There are no photos, no videos, nothing. It's like I traveled somewhere else and then made it back to this time frame or something. It makes no sense how my father and my mother, my mom was a model. She was dating a photographer who was one of the biggest photographers on the West Coast during this time. And we don't have like no photos of me other than a model shoot that we did. Like, there's no candid photos. There's no birthday photos. There's no, I slipped and cracked my leg and bled everywhere. Like, nothing. Anyways, I didn't take any photos of the cookies. So all of that was just to tell you that I was, but I did take a photo of us in the cookie place with all of us there. So check it out. That is Justin. And next to Justin is his daughter, Ellie. And next to Ellie and in between us is Ryder. And then, of course, you know that rotund dude on the end. That would be me. As my friend put it, oh, he filled out. He filled out. So you can see we actually used the cookie wall inside because they had this really cool art that said Albany on it, which is actually where we were. So I found it pretty cool. So big shout out to Justin, Ryder, and Ellie for coming and hanging out. and I made sure to, hook him up with some cookies. I sent him home. I didn't really ask, so I probably should have. Sorry, Justin. They had this deal. So the cookies are stupid expensive. They are, no joke, not even kidding, $5 per cookie. When I heard that, I was like, because I'm cheap. I am old school. Like, I used to laugh at people that would say, back in my day, you could buy 3 sodas for $1. Well, back in my day, you could buy 4 sodas for $1. So there. And now you can't even get a soda for $1. So, I'm when it comes to clothes and stuff, my wife has to buy them, and she cannot tell me how much they cost, because I will freak out. So, like I found these jeans. They were Nautica jeans. They were $20 a piece. I bought like 6 pairs of them. Wore them out. Went back to Nautica. They don't have $20 jeans anymore. I don't know what to do. I don't want to spend more than $20. So I've been friends that spend like $300 on jeans, and they have holes in them and bedazzling, and I'm just not into that. I'm cheap when it comes to that stuff. So, anyways. All right. Let's see here. Moving along. Oh yeah, cookies. So the deal was they were $5 a piece, and they had a deal where you could buy a box of 7, right, for $35, and then you got 1 free. So you basically got 14 cookies, which then made the cookies be about $2. And so I was like, let's do it. And I looked at them and I said, why don't you guys pick out 7 and take a box home? And then I looked at the wife and I said, we'll pick out 7 and take a box home. And they were like, oh, yeah. So Justin was super cool. He was like, oh, yeah, that's fine. So he picked out 1 cookie and let his kids pick out the rest, which I thought was kind of dangerous. That would have been me getting free cookies. I'd have been like, yeah, I'll get 1. I get the rest. That's just me, though. And Reese hates me for that, for sure. All right, so fast forward. That was actually January 7th that we did that. And again, Justin, thank you so much for meeting up and doing that. Like I said, I was wondering if I was going to hear from you when you were in Salem. I thought maybe we could go catch, some food at a food cart or something, right? And, so feel free. You've got my number now, which apparently everybody has it, but you at least have permission to use it. So January 7th, we did the cookie thing. A couple days later, in fact, it was actually 8 days later, the 15th happened to be Reese's birthday. We actually had these big plans because Reese was going to be 18. Well, he was 18. He is 18. And so, we made dinner plans to go meet up with my mom and my dad, who are both remarried and not often in the same place at the same time. So kind of like Christmas when Grandpa and Grandma were together for the first time. My mom and dad get along much better than Grandma and Grandpa, though. So that was definitely not a worry for me like it was at Christmas. What up? I see Teflon slid in here too. What up, Tef? So anyways, made the plans. A couple days after we make them, Mom and Sean pull out. I was pretty upset about it because the reason was, they were just going somewhere else. But at the same time, real life first, right? And in this case, that's what it had to be. They had some stuff that they had to do. It just didn't work out. So we actually made it work out so she could come by on his birthday. Actually, it was the day before his birthday. And so she came by. We hung out for a little bit. And then actually we went. So this is January 14th. We saw her for a little bit, opened gifts and stuff. And then we went and saw my grandma, who's 95 years old, who we hadn't seen in a few weeks just because we'd been sick or whatever, and we don't want to get her sick. And then the very next day, Reese wakes up sick with COVID. So on his birthday, he wakes up sick with COVID. I had to tell my mom, like, hey, watch out. We just saw you. Hopefully you don't get it. And then at that point, too, I was like, hey, glad you didn't, like, totally reconstruct your plans to come be here because we're not going to go to dinner anymore. Reese has COVID. And so it all worked out in the sense that she was already busy and we didn't have the dinner. So I had to cancel with my dad and his wife. And we're still actually looking for a replacement date to make that happen. He's been on a couple of trips or whatever. But so 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th, Reese was super sick and in bed. What up, Sono? Good to see you, Alex. So, um, wife's birthday's the 17th. We didn't do nothing but lay in bed and watch a bunch of shows, which was awesome. Um, and then my birthday was the 20th. We basically did the same thing. Now, you guys were here. I streamed all that week. We played Ghostbusters on that Friday on my birthday. You guys were awesome. We had a great time. And then so overall we had a pretty good birthday. Now, for my birthday, I did receive a card from my grandfather. Now, if you remember, I actually got a photo last year from him as well, and this seems to be a new trend. And at Christmas, he started telling me stories about stuff, like basically reminding me of things that happened. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I got some photos." I'm like, "Well, I'd love to see them." We're at his house, sitting in his living room. So, I got so much photos. Got so many photos of you when you're. And here I am pissed because I don't have photos from my childhood. And he's like, "Oh, I got lots of photos from childhood." I'm like, what? And he's like, "You'll see him eventually." I'm like, what the crap does that mean? So I think every year for my birthday, I'm going to get a photo from him. Hopefully he's around for a lot of years because according to him, he's got a lot of photos. He's also in his mid 80s. So, and he's got heart stuff, lots of stuff, lung stuff, body stuff. He's not in the greatest of shape. So, but anyways, Grandpa sent me a card, which was nice. And then he sent me this photo too that I wanted to share with you guys. There was a comment that came with it too, and I'll pop up the photo first. So here I am, and I'm literally like days old, like a couple weeks old or whatever, right? There's my grandfather, super young, shirt tucker, looks just like Letterkenny. Notice the little damp spot on his leg. My grandpa's like a tough guy. Like, he's been a contractor his whole life. He's built I don't know how many houses and apartment complexes and bigger buildings and pounded nails and just always been like a drinker and a smoker and like a tough guy. Like, kind of a man's man, right? But not really a man. Not like a bad one, but like just like a traditional one, right? I mean, I guess depending on how you look at it, they're about the same. But anyways, he had a comment that said, "You're still the only one to this day that's ever peed on me and got away with it," which I thought was pretty hilarious. But yeah, so there's me, no teeth, screaming my eyes out. Not a lot different than where I'm at now, especially after playing like Resident Evil or something. So that was pretty cool, seeing stuff like that. Like, I mean, I've never even seen that photo before. So to get that was pretty special. And so a big shout out to Gramps for that. And yeah, so birthdays were great. Not a lot was had. We watched a lot of that 90s show. In fact, we watched it all. We finished a couple of other shows that we've been watching. I think we were watching Yellow Jackets, and we finished that up, getting ready for the season 2 that's about to start. And definitely good, relaxing birthday. That was actually my grandfather, Adam. That was my mom's father in that photo. So that's my grandfather, Reese's great grandfather, who, as I was mentioning, is in his mid 80s. I believe he's 87. But pretty cool stuff, regardless. So that would have been cool to recreate. And we've been talking about. There's a couple of photos that I have that I want Reese to recreate with me, and most of them he said no. But yesterday I asked him about one, and he was like, he didn't say no. He didn't say yes either, but he didn't go no. So I thought that might be something cool. I'd love to do that. I think that stuff's hilarious. I think more people should do that. All right, so a couple days after birthdays, obviously on my birthday, as always, I tweeted out the game we were streaming and everything. And a few days later, you can see here on the date, it was actually the 25th. I got a retweet and then also a message sent to me from the developers, or at least the social media account, not necessarily a developer, but the community manager sent me I hope your birthday was great. We know who to call. Obviously, they watched our gameplay and saw how good we were. That's how I took that comment, right? Right? So I thought that was pretty sweet, right? They obviously retweeted, seems like a dream come true. Come hang and watch me celebrate my birthday by chasing ghosts. And then they sent me that personal message. So that was pretty cool too. Um, so as I've mentioned, my son, my wife, and I all have birthdays within 5 days of each other, the 15th, 17th, and 20th. It's been that way forever. But I've also maybe mentioned too that my mom's mom, my grandmother, Reese's great grandmother, has a birthday on the 26th. So within 11 days, four of us have birthdays. That's pretty impressive. Um, Anyways, as you guys may remember, my mom's mom and I don't necessarily have the same relationship that like my dad's parents and I had. There's lots of reasons for it, and I certainly don't want to like put her down. She is an awesome lady. But I feel like there's a lot of my stubbornness and my willingness or skills to argue likely come from her. Now, another thing about her that you guys may or may not know is that she is extremely religious. And although I do not partake in religion myself and I'm not against religion, I'm certainly not somebody who loves to be showered or attacked, as I like to call it, with stuff, right? Like I'm all for people feeling, doing, believing in whatever they feel they want or need to. Um, and I don't bash or take anything away from anybody in any situation. In fact, without going into detail, there's something very, very new to me that has recently become sort of a reoccurring thing. And I'm sure you guys have seen. There's been interaction. I've been totally fine. I even got put on spot live on stream one day, and I feel like I think I handled it how I should have. So all of that aside, Grandma has gone to extreme lengths to, you know, she's paid her church to have us baptized and all that. I've never been baptized, but she's paid some. So there's a lot of things that like have been done on my behalf, and I sort of get them held over my head at times, and so I tend to not be as available and stuff, and I feel bad about it, and I'm trying to make a better effort to go see her more often, and so we met up with her a couple weeks ago with my mom and had some ice cream, and we've just tried to be more involved. And I hadn't been to her new place. She actually lived like 3 blocks from my house, and I hadn't gone and seen her in like over a year. And so she moved. Now she's far away. Now like she's a good 30, 40, 30, 25, 30 minutes away. And, so I'm going to try to make more of an effort now that she's there. But anyways, her birthday was the 26th. And we went to go see her. Now, my mom had called me and said, hey, I'm going to be there on the 23rd. Jenny's going to be there on the 20th. I don't know if anybody's going to be there on her actual birthday. Like, we're celebrating. We're both doing individual things. So, like, it's not like she's being forgotten about. It's just her actual birthday. And she knows where I'm at with all of the stuff. And so she was like, not like, hey, you need to go there. But she was like, oh, my God, that'd be like the coolest thing ever if you did. So I told her I would do it, barring Reese and everybody wasn't sick, because that's when the conversation took place, was when we were all COVID. So I told her we would. The day came, and we had a gift for her. We went and got her a banana split, which is like one of her favorite things in the world. And we showed up at her door and knocked on her door. Now, little backstory here for her. She's been in this place for roughly 7 months. And since she's been there, it's been a wild ride. Lots of ups and downs, some good, some bad. But more recently, in specific, Grandma has dementia. Grandma's storytelling is sometimes not as precise as maybe what actually happened. Definitely don't want to not believe her or take anything away from her. But basically, she told me a story that made me feel like one of the employees was very predatory. And she's had 3 incidences, apparently, with this person, to the point where there's been some time off given to this person. And I know this is true because I've actually talked to my mom, who was the one that made all that happen. But the fellow is back, and since he's back, they've actually put up a notice on my grandmother's door. No other tenant that I could see had a notice on their door that said this, but it basically said, "Do not enter without knocking. Let the resident acknowledge you and invite you in. It was kind of like the vampire rule, right? Like, do not enter unless invited. And so we knocked on the door, and she was like, who's there? And obviously this is a new thing, so she was pretty upset that somebody was knocking on her door. And she has a little tiny dog, like a little Chihuahua, like tiny little dog. Like Cutie is bigger than this dog. And so Jillian took the present and bent over and was like leaning down. And I guess that the little peephole, she could only see Jillian's back. And so she was like, "Who is it?" And we were like, "It's us, Grandma." She was like, "What? Who's here? What?" She opened the door and she was like, she looked down at Jillian and she couldn't see Jillian's face because she was trying to block the dog from running out the door. And she looks at Reese and she kind of scowls at him, and then she looks back at me and she kind of like lightens up a little bit. And then she looks back at Reese, and then it hits her. This is my family. And she just started bawling in a good way. And so we gave her a banana split. We like sat down, we told a bunch of stories. We hung out for a good hour and a half or whatever. And she told us all about the resident and all that stuff. And so anyways, at one point I snapped a photo, and I want to share this with you. So she's got this little Chihuahua. I want this dog so bad. And you guys know I'm not necessarily a dog person. I love my Drex, but Jillian wants another dog, and I do not want another dog. So I this dog, he's got like this underbite. So he's always got his, teeth out, like he's a mean little, and he's just the cutest little thing. And so before I show you the picture of him, he does this thing with me, and he's done it every time I visited him for years. He's probably 2 years old now. He'll jump up on my lap, he'll stand up on his back paws, and he'll lick my cheek or my nose, right? And then he goes straight for my earlobe, and he bite, pull. And then he goes to my other earlobe, bite, pull. And then he licks my forehead or face, and then back to my earlobes. And he'll do it. And I don't think anybody else lets him do that. And I think he's like, thank you. Thank you. Like, he must have did it probably 35 times while I was there for an hour and a half. And he was jumping up, doing stuff to Reese, jumping up on Jillian and everything too. Cutest little dog. And we actually have had the talk, and we are the intended recipient of Runt, which is his name, if and when Grandma can no longer take care of him. But here's Grandma. So it's my 81-year-old grandma, and Runt. You can see those teeth. Oh, let me see if I can make that a little bit bigger there. Let's see here. Hold on. Where's my layer here? Granny and Runt. Okay. Let's get them teethy a little bigger. Oh, I love that little dog so much. He is the cutest little thing ever. And I'm not necessarily even like super big into like little dogs. Like, I unfortunately, like, one of my really close friends had a little tiny dog like that. Cutest little thing. They had another big, like a medium-sized dog too, like smaller than Drex even. And they had young kids. Like, I think at the time, I think Devin was like 7. I think Gavin was 10, and Kylie must have been probably like 5. And they had friends over. They played football. They had all, dog got stomped on, and they had to put it down. Like, it didn't die there. Like, it was hurt and suffered. And so I really have a hard time with that. Like, as foul mouth and as tough as I used to be in my presentation in my teens and 20s and stuff, like, I'm the biggest freaking softy to walk the planet these days. Like, I don't break rules. I like hold people accountable. I call people out on their BS. Like, I'm so not who I was when I was 20 years old. And so, yes, that is a doggo. So it gets even wilder. So while we're at Granny's, I've mentioned this the other day. We actually got a surprise. So we were getting ready to leave. We were all packing up. We were starting to get ready to leave. We were saying our goodbyes. And my grandma, who never sees us and has dementia, hugged us like 10 times each because, oh, I need to get a hug before you leave. And she'd forgotten 10 seconds ago we just did this. Or maybe she was just wanting some more love. Whatever works. No wrong answer. But as we're walking out, my mother-in-law, who was there with us too, goes, hey, because my grandma was telling us the story for like the fourth time that she didn't think she was going to see anybody on her birthday, and this has been the best birthday ever because ironically, the guy who lives right behind us is part of her church, and we've known this guy. My wife and her family have shared a backyard with this guy for 25, 30 years. And so they've known the Lyles for a long time. And the Lyles go to the same church and know my grandma. And throughout my grandma's struggles, the Lyles have really done a lot of work and helped her out a tremendous amount. And on her birthday, the Lyles stopped by to like celebrate her, which was really cool. So she was like, oh my God, the Lyles were here. And you guys, nobody was even supposed to be here. I was sad. I was crying this morning because no one was going to be here. And then the people that work here, they came and sang me happy birthday. And right then my mother-in-law goes, wait a minute, we didn't send her happy birthday. We had her eat cake. We had her eat this. We had her all this stuff. And like, we didn't celebrate her. So let's celebrate her. So we start singing, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. And right then, the most unbelievable, unexpected thing could happen. Sadly, I was not more prepared, as I just said a few minutes ago. I've been really bad about having my phone ready for camera action and stuff. But this happened, and I struggled to get my phone out. And this is what I captured. I'll probably play it more than once just because you almost have to see it twice or three times to really get the full effect because it's kind of abrupt in how it happens, and you might sort of miss it on the first go. And I don't have an auditory, like I can't hear what the stream hears. I can only see the EQ bar telling me where the volume level's at. And I think I got it good, but you guys are going to have to tell me. All right. So mid singing to grandma. Go.
Birthday, dear Johnny. Happy birthday to you.
Good job, Rod. Is that not the cutest damn thing you ever done seen? My grandma had never had the dog sing before. My grandma had 4 people sing her happy birthday 2 hours before we got there, and the dog didn't join in. Like, are you kidding me? Come on, make it work. Make it work.
Birthday, dear Johnny. Happy birthday to you.
Good job, Rod. He was so proud. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, that was such a bonus. Oh my God. And he sang like, we got happy birthday. Like, he was instantly in on that. And like I said, I fumbled to get my phone out. Hilarious though. Absolutely, like, great. So, had a great day with Granny. Yeah, so, beyond that, the month has been fairly boring. Obviously, I've been working on a few different things. Lego Star Wars, finishing that up. I've actually got all of the videos that I plan on doing done. They're on the server. They'll be released in the next couple of days. In fact, we have one coming out on Thursday, one coming out on Saturday. And then not Sunday, but the following week, I'm going to go ahead and launch this is just the final video, actually, so this one isn't even live yet. So you get a little sneak peek here. So yeah, not Sunday, but the following Sunday, I believe, is when we're going to do it. So not the 5th, but the 12th. And that's subject to change right now. I do want to point that out, that is subject to change because I do feel like we're trying to get to the beach. And I don't know what weekend's going to work out better for my mom. And I mean, I suppose there's a slight possibility that we might do it early. And actually, now that I think about it, is there audio for this blaring over the top of me? I didn't even think about that. I'm not seeing any audio for that video. All right, well, you all have seen enough anyways. Get out of here, kid. You bother me. That's just a silly, repetitive farming trophy, anyways. It's just one of the last ones that hadn't been rang off that, might need, a little direction. Like for me, I wasn't exactly sure what the best place to go was on that one. And it turns out Theed has 2 spots right at the spawning point, and it's sort of misleading because the way the trophy achievement reads, it says a little short for a stormtrooper. And there are a couple of different types of armor. And so naturally, one might think you have to wear the stormtrooper armor, but you don't. The way the trophy actually reads, if you read the description, says disguise, use the disguise 25 times. But the stormtrooper sort of makes you feel like you have to go and find one of those stormtrooper outfits, and you don't, which is kind of crazy awesome. All right, so looking at my list here. I also, so I know I mentioned that I ordered a long time ago, I ordered the Lego Super Mario Brothers Princess Peach Castle. And it had been on my list forever as far as wish lists and everything. And what I didn't realize was it was not just a standalone set. It was actually part of the build, the modular building that the Lego Super Mario game sets are. So I think there's 100 sets that you can get that you can build on and basically make this huge Super Mario Brothers world with all these different things. So I got the Peach's Castle a while back, but I never showed you guys a photo. I also went to Lego. So on Saturday, we went and saw my friend Jordan when I ended up meeting up with one of my friends I hadn't seen since my wedding day in 2008. One of my best friends that I sort of ruined a friendship, and a lot of time has passed, and he was willing to talk to me. So we sort of, I don't know, we're not back on track again, but I mean, it felt like it, right? As soon as we walked in, there wasn't any awkwardness or any weirdness or anything. So that was pretty cool. But while we were up there, we went and ate at the Cheesecake Factory for the first time because we'd never eaten there and wanted to. And we were supposed to eat there for Reese's birthday, and that didn't happen. And I was fixing to eat that cheddar burger. So I went and got a cheddar burger, some cheesecake. And while we were at the mall, where it is, that's also where Lego is. So we dropped in and we grabbed a couple of things. The daffodils had came in. So I got Peach's Castle probably middle of December, if I'm being honest. The daffodils came in, I think, the first week of January. And then my wife spotted the creator set with the birds, and she was like, oh my gosh, with all my plants and everything, I need to get that. So we went and tracked one of those down. And so we were standing there, and I was like, what else looks decent? Is there any sets that we should get for build? Is there any sets we should get for our sort of collection? Because we sort of invest in a lot of Lego. And so we definitely have a large collection. In fact, you can sort of see some of it in the background off to the right side there. Here, let me see if I can maybe get a little bit more photo in there. I don't know if you can, but you can see the Lego tower is in the back upper right, and you can see the Wallies, and you can see the Adidas shoes, Seinfeld, The Office, Star Wars. We got a lot of our stuff back there. So we have this wall of Lego, and it's at some point we'll actually start selling those, the retired sets. And so my wife's like, I really think the Disney sets are going to be good. And I was like, well, what ones though? A lot of the sets are Duplo, kid stuff. I like the way they look, but I don't see those as being collectors. And we don't have any young kids. We don't plan on building these sets. So if we're getting them for financial gains or some sort of long-term investment, then we better get stuff that, that might have some value down the road. Now, I've had my eyes on that Haunted House set for a while, because Haunted House is one of my favorite things when you go to Haunted Mansion, my bad, when you go to Disneyland, Disney World. In fact, it actually broke when we were there, and it took 3.5 hours to actually ride a 7-minute ride, which was terrible, but it's true. And then the castle too. So both of those are minimal sets. They have much bigger, larger sets out there, but those are both decent ones. They're both only $30 or something like that. So we picked up both of those and thought that was kind of cool. And then we kept on with the kept on and rolled out of there. But let's see here. Those flower sets are pretty awesome. Yeah, we've got a ton of the flowers. So it was even funny. We were at the Lego and wife found the roses. And she was like, do I have the roses? And I was like, I don't think you do. I was like, do you want roses? She was like, of course I want roses. We got home. We have roses. I was like, I'm so glad we didn't buy those. Farmer, what up, dude? So definitely productive. I feel like I don't think that the Haunted Mansion or the castle is going to be like mega value down the road, but there are a couple of minifigs that go with it. I don't know if we can actually see. I mean, so you got the whoops, crap. I don't know what layer I just grabbed and moved, but that's not what I was trying to do. Lego sets. All right, so here we go. Let me see if I can blow this up even more here. I know that Mickey is in one, and then I don't remember the dude's name. That's the haunted housekeeper or whatever. I'm not sure what his name is, but both of those minifigs. It's weird. So, collecting Lego doesn't always necessarily mean the set has to be complete or sealed. Often there are purchasers that want those complete new in-box sets, but there's a whole group of people that wants like minifigs. They have collections, whether they're building an army of stormtroopers or whether they have all of this, but they don't have that one for Scooby-Doo or whatever. So people often buy the loose minifigs and stuff too. So although those sets, the castle may not be worth anything, a Mickey Mouse may end up being worth more than the set cost to buy. It hasn't, I mean, it's happened before. It hasn't not happened. I was going to say it wouldn't be unheard of if it did. Let's see here. And you got the Haunted Mansion. I want that because my first job was working at a... No way. That's really cool. I didn't know that. Hopefully you weren't there the year we went when it broke down. If it is, I'm totally blaming you. We went there for the holidays. I actually have a whole video on it. You guys are welcome to check that out. But there was a California trip vlog that I did. We went to Disneyland. We went to Legoland. We did Golden Gate Bridge. We did the crookedest road in the world. We did a bunch of stuff, and I documented it all. And Reese was like, I mean, that was 5-6 years ago. So Reese was, 13 years old. And it was really fun. But I'm not kidding. We got to the Haunted Mansion and we got about in the middle of the line and it broke down. And we were just stuck there. I hadn't eaten. I was so tired. Like that particular day too, I wasn't feeling very well. And so it was suggested that I take a Dayquil. And so woke up, wasn't feeling well, showered, got all dressed, wasn't feeling well. Stomach was kind of hurting. So I didn't have breakfast or anything. Popped a Dayquil. About a half hour later, we're off the shuttle walking into Disney. And as we're like checking in, showing our passes, like I about fall over. Like I literally had to lean on Jillian and she walked me off to the side and I basically collapsed. I mean, I didn't hit my head or nothing, but I just kind of fell to the ground and I literally laid down on the cement, just, I need some water. And I couldn't tell what was happening. I had no idea. Later, we sort of assumed that an empty stomach and a Dayquil were not a good combination for me on top of already not feeling great. And this was pre-COVID and all that stuff. So, we weren't nearly as cautious with being sick and out in public and stuff. But definitely not my greatest day. And I remember, too, like, so my dad went through first. And I remember, like, my dad got, like, almost strip searched. I don't know why, but he was chose as some buddy to get extra search. And so I'm like, and then I'm like, and then I'm like holding on to John, like, what's up, Josh? I see you sliding in. I see Alex out there too. What's up, Alex? So yeah, not my greatest thing, but the Cali trip, it's a fun, like 4 or 5 blog series. We're talking about being bored earlier. If you need something to watch, HTG Brian, we certainly appreciate some extra views. So yeah, definitely cool stuff. And if anybody wants links or wants me to post it on Facebook or Twitter or something to make it easy to access, I will. But that's another one of those things, like, outside of Lego, my videos don't necessarily do that well. And I don't know why that is. A lot of you guys claim and say, "Oh, I'd love to see that." Or like even my whale watching video, like how did that not go viral? Like I was literally flying a drone over a whale that was blowing water up almost onto the drone off a private coast with a mansion of a house in the background. Like it doesn't get a whole lot cooler than that. And if in the right hands, like if it was put somewhere, I'm sure it would get 1 billion views because it was awesome. But I don't know why. It gets buried in the YouTube algorithm and it doesn't ever get seen. You want to see the RL power washing moment? I can give you a quick sample right now, honestly. I don't know how well you'll be able to hear it, but bringing it to the RL. Oh, I hit my cancel button. Oh, bringing it to the RL. What do we got? Oh, I finally got my pressure washer back. Let's go. So that was one of the clips I had. Little chaotic, a little crazy. And it was funny because Jillian, when I was talking to her last night, I was telling her how you guys voted that Power Wash for PlayStation was in. I was going to buy it today, which I have officially bought. It's on my console, ready to go for Monday. It's the same game, but it also has extended DLC, and there's going to be another update released in the next couple of weeks, too. So although some of the stuff's going to look the same, depending on when you showed up or how you came in, I'm going to have a better understanding of how to beat this game more efficiently, quicker. And hopefully we'll get the platinum. As you guys know, I'm a trophy collector more than I am an achievement hoarder. So I definitely would love to have this game complete in the trophy bin. And speaking of trophies, I got a platinum yesterday thanks to Greg, Kirsten, Tude, and Gray. We played Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed. Ironically, today the DLC for that game came out. Too bad it didn't come out yesterday. That would have been a lot cooler. But there's like a new ghost. There's some new gear. I believe there is a new map coming in the next week or two, but I don't think that came out yet. So we will likely return to that and play it again in the future. And if Tude hasn't gotten his platinum by then, we'll definitely make sure he gets it. But I will likely be getting a platinum trophy tomorrow too, as tomorrow we're going to return with Goat Simulator, the first one. And I got arguably the hardest trophy completed last week. Now, technically I spent about a quarter of my stream, maybe more, trying to complete this one task, and I was not able to do it on stream. I went and grabbed a drink, drained the tank, sat down for like 10 minutes, and then I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it another go and see if I can do it. And on my like third or fourth attempt, I got it. And so I shared it on social media with you guys. And so it's officially done. So in theory, as long as Kirsten can find a list of the quests, because that's the only thing I'm having trouble. I haven't even looked. I could probably find one too, but I know she found one already that had some information. So I'm hoping that between us, we can find the quest info, because that's basically all I need to know. Like, some of them aren't very specific on what to do. It'll say like that one that was like, I don't even remember what it was, but it has some wordplay on Bay, and it ended up being Michael Bay. But the way it was written, I was thinking like girlfriend Bay or something, right? Like or the Bay of, I wasn't thinking like Michael Bay. So finding some of those would be definitely crucial to my success. Poor Dude Game hates him. Yeah, that is interesting that his game hasn't been collecting his stuff. I'm not exactly sure why either. All right, let's see here. What is this? Destiny 2 activation. Why am I getting... I don't want Destiny 2. I don't even want info on Destiny 2. Stop sending me junk. Sorry to anybody who likes that game. Let's see here. All right. So one last thing that I've been doing that I had this month was I had an opportunity. Hey, peace out, Mike. Have a good one. I had an opportunity to... Okay, so my wife switched schools last year or this year teaching. She was at a middle school last year. This year she's at a high school. It's a weird scenario, but essentially last year there was one campus and 4 high schools. I don't really know how to explain it. Basically, they had certain staff for certain buildings, and certain kids based on neighborhoods would go to certain schools. There wasn't a lot of crossover or whatever. It was like, you got where you got. Well, for whatever reason, they decided this last summer that they were just going to combine them all and make them one high school. So these multiple high schools became one high school. And my wife was actually talking to some people, like some of the people in the office, and she was like, hey, where can I get a hooded sweatshirt, and where can I get, like, where's the merchandise I want to buy so I can support the school and be wearing some of the school gear? And I go, oh, we don't have any. She goes, what do you mean you don't have any? And I go, well, last year we were multiple high schools. This year we're one high school. So we have gear for these individual schools, but we don't have like the actual school stuff, right? Because they all combine into one school. It's instead of like multiple names, it's the town name now for the high school. And so, anyways, my wife comes home and she goes, I had a talk with some lady in the office and she says they need somebody to do some graphics. So I told her I had the guy to do it. And I went, oh, me? She goes, yeah. I was like, all right. When do they need them done? She's like, yesterday. It's like, what? Well, I don't know what's going on. She goes, if I bring you a logo and some ideas, will you make them happen? I was like, seems simple enough. Yeah. And so that night she actually sat down and she sketched out a bunch of stuff. And, she basically took ideas that a lot of high schools use. So there's certain formats and certain things. And when I show you these graphics in a second that we built, you'll be like, oh yeah, that's totally high school stuff. Nothing spectacular. There's one that's completely original that she sketched out on paper and that I digitally made a reality. But so, and they've actually taken some changes since this. This is all rough draft, early stuff. But they've selected 2 of these, and they're actually going to start printing shirts. My wife has to make an order today, and they're ordering like 500 T-shirts and hoodies. And so there's going to be a bunch of these graphics on stuff that'll be going around, which is hopefully cool. I mean, I'm hoping that there's no issues. Obviously, I've made all the graphics and all the stuff for my store, but depending on the printer and stuff, like there may be conflict with some of the images. But anyhow, here's just some fun stuff that I've been working on with the wife. Some are cooler than others. Some have a little bit more relevance than others. But, so I've got a handful of hours that I put together to put these together. My favorite one is the second one from the bottom on the left. That's the one that my wife actually sketched out. And it started off with like, she was like, I really want to have like a shot from Woodburn looking at the mountains. And so I like searched Google for a bunch of like, Mount Hood view from Woodburn and all these different things. And I got nothing. Then I found this one image of a bunch of tulips. And I was like, oh yeah, Woodburn's sort of by Mount Angel. Mount Angel's known for being huge with tulip farms. Like, do you guys have a lot of tulips in Woodburn? She goes, oh yeah, we got lots of farms there. And I was like, all right, cool. So then I was like, all right. She ended up drawing this little rough sketch on paper, and it was literally the back mountain and then the front mountain and then some grass. And then so I took that and I was like, all right, look, there's tons of trees, there's tulips, and they also have a hot air balloon festival that's there all the time. And so I went and I grabbed those other elements and slapped them in. And when she saw it, she was like, wow, that's so much cooler than I thought it was going to be. And I was like, really? Because normally, as I've told you in the past, you guys are all too kind to me. Oh, that's great. That thumbnail looks great. Oh, that thumbnail looks great. My wife will come home and be like, dude, that's so bad. I can't believe people said that was good. You're so bad. That's the shadowing's wrong. There's hair coming out. Where's that hair? Why is that black mark there? What's that from? And she'll just tear it and shred it to pieces. And I'm like, I get so deflated, but it's honest and it's real. And I need that. I don't want my horn tooted just because they want to toot my horn. I want to know what's wrong and what's good. So, anyways, these are all, like I said, they're all sort of collegiate / high school kind of base stuff. I feel like the top right one, the Bulldog's heart one, I don't think I've ever seen that anywhere before. That was totally one of her ideas too. But like the W, that's pretty collegiate. The logo with the Woodburn Bulldogs over the top, I mean, that's fairly common in like a lot of, whatever. The WHS Bulldogs and then the Woodburn Bulldog Nation up top, those are pretty standard, easy. Like anybody can make those in like 10 seconds in Microsoft Word or whatever. So pretty easy to achieve. And then, of course, the classic love one too, right? Like, which was super easy. She's like, I really like that love graphic. Do you think we can remove the Legos? I was like, yeah, that's going to be the easiest one. Because I just opened up my Lego file, got rid of the stud, and put the logo in there, the Woodburn Bulldog logo, and then added a couple paws and hearts. And I was like, bam, nailed it. Yeah, so I mean, so far what they chose the so we made some modifications to the MTV logo in the bottom right there, the WHS. We modified the color of blue to match. I guess we were wrong in the shade. And then we boxed it all off. So there's a black stroke around all edges. And it looks good. And the reason for the black stroke is so they can put it on like white t-shirts, white and lighter tone stuff without having to completely change the graphic itself. Because most people don't understand that like not all graphics are created the same. And funny, like, I mean, I understand that, right? I have a great understanding of how graphics work and how they shouldn't work. And yet I'm still a big enough idiot that I can make something like this happen. Yeah, you guys are like, what? I don't even see anything. Exactly. See that gap between Thumby's head and the Get Good? There's nothing there. Yeah, you want to see something funny? Oh, actually, it's not even cut out and printed. So I had a white version of the HTG Love sticker there. A white version on a white background that was so similar that the printers couldn't even tell there was a graphic there. So, I mean, sometimes you got to make some pretty big changes in order for the print to work out like you want it to. And in this case, putting that white W on a white shirt, the white would all get lost on the white shirt, right? So it would just look like some blue blotches. And so you have to put a stroke around. So there's some few things that we've had to modify, but they chose the Bulldog one with the WHS and the Bulldogs. And then they also chose the MTV one down in the bottom right corner. And so the 500 are going to be ordered. And then depending on how they do, they'll either, go to the next graphic or whatever. So I mean, as it sits, I'm their logo guy for now, but I'm a little bummed out that I'm not responsible for the orders. And I've tried to give her some advice too, that like, so they have 1,800 students in the school and they have like 100 staff members. So basically 2,000, we'll just say as a rough number, 2,000 people that frequent that school, that building every day. And she said, we're only ordering 500. And I said, okay, I'm not trying to be mean or rude or sound like a know-it-all or anything, but like, I mean, out of those 2,000 people that are there is a significant portion of those people that probably don't have $40 or $50 to throw on a hoodie. I mean, I don't know what they're going to charge, but I mean, standard prices for hoodies are probably 30 and up, I would say at least. And so, and then I'm like, okay. And then there's like the people who have the money that maybe don't like the school. She goes, oh, everybody loves the school. I bought all sorts of stuff from our school. And I said, yeah, you were a teacher and you were supporting your environment. Like, did we buy anything from Reeses High School? No, well, we hate that high school. And I said, you see my point, right? Well, yeah, but we're sort of unique. Everybody loves that high school. And I was like, yeah, but you feel that way and you say that. But listen, all I'm saying is nobody wants to spend thousands of dollars on inventory for it just to sit. I understand having some stuff on demand or whatever, but, maybe taking some orders, like maybe do like 100. And then like, if they all sell out, great, buy another 200 and they sell out, great, buy a 500 or get 100 and see how they do. And then maybe offer these other images as possibilities from like a on-demand kind of store, like the HTG store, right? Because there's no product sitting. Your product gets made when you order it. So, but they're like, she was like, yeah, but they use this local company. And so that's kind of where I'm like, a local company, huh? So I'm good. I did all those from scratch. Every one of those scratch, except for the Bulldog logo was given to me, right? Everything else though, totally did all on my own. Created that W, created that heart, chose all the fonts and all. I didn't do a lot, but everything there is original. And it's tough trying to create an abundance of stuff that's going to be purchased. And I feel like if all those are available to be on demand, then some of those might sell. You buy 100 of one of those, they might sit for the next 6 months. So I was trying to give advice, and the logos that I made, I did them all from scratch. Some of them are a little rough around like the layering or how I did stuff. Like, for example, the black stroke around the edges. There's a couple of ways you can do it, and my way might not be the way they want to see it done, or it may, because a lot of times when they do screen printing, they break it down into colors. So like the blue layer would be one, or the blue color would be one layer. The white would be another, and then the black would be another. So that would be a 3-color image. And so they literally make 3 stencils. One is of the white stuff, one is of the blue edges, and then the order is important. So they'll put like, usually they'll probably do the blue first, and then they'll do the white, and then they do the black outlines around it, and then that would be the shirt. And so they have 3 different layers that they scrub on this material and let it heat dry, and that's how a lot of this stuff is made. My layers aren't necessarily going to break down by colors like that. So I'm hoping that's not going to be, because if they go, oh yeah, we need the original files, I'm going to be like, you don't want my original files. They're a mess. They look great, but they're not like, when it comes to illustrations, I always can get done what I'm trying to get done. But sometimes I have to go an obscure route or something that's unusual in order to do something. Like sometimes even like adding an outline around something, it's easier to export the image from Illustrator, import it into Photoshop, and add a stroke around it in Photoshop. Because it's like one button and it just does it. Where there's a lot of rules and lines and anchor points and stuff that get in the way and can cause confusion or problems. So, and I'm not a professional when it comes to Illustrator. I still have room to grow in that department. So at some point, I'll probably get back to that. And that's actually one of the things that I want to do in the next week or so. I'm sort of taking a break in between projects. What project I'm going to do next isn't 1,000% sure yet. It's 99% going to be Lego Indy 2. I've been saying that for a while, but I mean, we're there. There was another game that was sort of on the docket that was maybe going to happen, but I'd never really pressed for it. And it may happen down the road at some point. But Lego Indy 2 will likely be next. And it's my understanding that it's just an absolute disaster. And what I mean by that is it sounds like my traditional methods won't work. But I don't know that yet. I'm actually, that's one of the things. I got to get Lego Star Wars all caught up on my PS4 save because there's some free play that I didn't do. I skipped ahead to do the free roam. And I got to get that caught up for the stream so I can finish the PS4 and the PS5 go. Once that is caught up, though, I am going to get onto a secret account and probably play like an hour or 3 of Lego Indy 2 and just see if all the guide in the hubbub, like nothing for nothing, but about 5 years ago, I actually sat down with somebody to write a guide for it. And they started writing a guide for it. And like a month went by and there was still no progress to be shown. And I'd given the formatting, I gave the expectations, I told them how we want. I was coaching them every day and answering questions and hoping to get progress soon. And when I finally got the progress, it was literally like, I felt like I had bought a book and I was reading a book because it was like literally step by step, press the X button to start game, press X to load game. Once loaded in, and you have control of your character, look to your left and stroll forward. And it was literally like what I needed to do in order to like complete the level. Like there was no collectible information. There was no nothing. And again, I'm not trying to poo-poo on anybody. But when I asked like, hey, I just need the collectibles and stuff, the response was, we're getting there. This is how you have to do it. And I was like, that's not how we do it. And it was like, no, that's how this game is. This game is very different. And I was like, no, it's not. And then I started looking at some guides online that already existed, and they were sort of saying similar things. It looks like some things are maybe out of order. Like you might have to get like it's not a crest piece, but let's just say a crest piece in an area that you probably wouldn't normally. Some things I might not be able to wait till free play to get. I don't know yet. I sort of asked somebody to check it out. Just kidding. But I've not heard anything back yet. So I have a copy for the Xbox, and I also have a copy for the PlayStation. Traditionally, I usually play through the Xbox and figure out, do my scouting there, and then I'll record on the PlayStation because of the fact that PlayStation often allows me to do more saves manually. The Xbox and the PS5 even are actually really tough to manually save to like a like a USB thumb drive or whatever. I used to save 4 or 5 of these. I would play through 4 or 5 levels of like Lego Hobbit or whatever, right? Boom, 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 boom. I'd do level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then I'd take all the footage I edit or got and would edit all that footage. And if I got to level 3 and I realized, oh crap, I made a mistake, I can revert my save from level 5 to level 3 by using these USBs. Now, PS5, you could only upload to the cloud, and I never really figured out if you could externally save on the Xbox. I've read that you can, but when I've tried to follow through, it doesn't let me. So I don't know if I'm just doing something wrong or if Series X doesn't allow that. I'm still trying to figure that out. But Lego Indy 2 does not have the same. So it's on PlayStation now. It does have trophies. I feel like the FPS boost on the Xbox is going to look better. So video-wise, as much as I love doing them on the PlayStation when I can, I think I'm going to actually do my recording on the Xbox. Not sure on that yet, but that's what I'm thinking. Let's see here. Submitting for my class. Okay, not relevant to what I'm saying, but relevant to you. Got it. Let's see. Tony's out there. What up, Tony? So my high school, my mascots were, I was the Bethany Bobcats, the Meadow Park Trojans, and then I had split high school. I had Sunset Apollos and the Staten Eagles. Those were my schools, and all of them still exist. Meadow Park's still going good. Bethany's still going good. Sunset's going good. There's been more schools added in those areas, but not, Staten High's still going strong too. So definitely cool. All right, so hey, real quick, let's toss this up. This is the the near future. That's right. I have a time machine. I'm gonna show you what's the future looking like. Oh, it's all stream schedules. You can see PlayStation version of Power Wash Simulator has been added to Monday. So Ghostbusters being platinum will no longer be around for a while. Once the DLC stacks up and we got some new content to check out, hopefully maybe even some trophies and new levels, we'll definitely return back to that. But for now, we're going to go ahead and check out the Power Wash Sim, and that was based on votes you guys provided. So excited to get back to that. Let's see here. Teflon, fun fact for you. I have yet to, and I'm knocking on wood, I have yet to run into any game-breaking glitches in any Lego game. Now, has there been some wonky behaviors or a situation or two where like for example, Lego Batman 2, or was it 3? 2 or 3, I can't remember which one. It might have even been DC Supervillains. One of the Batman games, though, Robin had a suit that needed to be worn. But if you had like the wrong version of a suit, or you did the suit at the wrong time, if you knew that or figured that, you could just reload the level and get by it, no problem. So I've had some minor things like that, like even Lego Star Wars, the TSS. I'll complete a level or complete an area in a free roam, and then the next mission will take me off planet, and I'll return back to finish that mission. And when I get back and I look at my map, a quest that I just did is actually showing undid. But then I walk into that room and it's not there and it goes away. So I've had minor stuff like that. A lot of people talk about these crazy glitches. Oh, I got to start my game over and all this stuff. I've yet to run into that. Now, I find too, just as a fun fact, that using cheat codes can often increase your probability of having wonky behaviors. Not blaming or pointing fingers saying anybody necessarily use cheat codes, but I feel like those definitely ruin the game more often than they help the game. Sure, you get a brick now, but do you get to finish it later? That's the question. And again, not saying you use any or not. And so, I mean, I'm always expecting quirks. The Lego Lord of the Rings did not. The Wizard puzzles sucked. The BB-8 puzzles sucked. I mean, there's definitely been some terrible designed things or whatever you want to refer to them as, but I'm certainly not going to let it get in my way. I'm more concerned about the format of how the game is laid out and how the collectibles can be obtained, because that's how it's been explained to me, that it's not traditional. So you can't get all 4 collectibles in the same go or something like that is how, but I have yet to play it, so I do not know. But back to this, we got Transformer Battleground on Wednesday, and that's official starting next week. Not tomorrow, but next week, because I got my code. It's all installed and ready to go. But because I did not have it for last week, we jumped over and played Goat Simulator, which I honestly thought was going to last a lot longer than 2 streams, but apparently the game's really short. Now, there is DLC that I could piggyback on at some point, which we might return down the road to that. And there's tons of trophies and like lots of cool stuff that you can do. But I think that if I bought all the DLCs, I'd probably get them all done in one go. That's my guess, because they're pretty short for each DLC. Let's see here. Yeah, Brian says it gets a little confusing, but that's what I'm here for. I'm supposed to break it down and show y'all. And then last but not least, Friday is still going to remain an Apex day. Now, maybe by the end of the month, I might have to update this graphic, and maybe Sundays might be returning Lego style. And if it does, it's almost for sure going to be the longest journey. We might actually start it in February, and then it's probably going to last the rest of the year. You guys remember about Lego Dimensions for the Xbox? So I'm thinking I might take that for a go. And not only is that game extremely long, but there's going to be some curves, some relearning curves in regards to what characters and abilities and such are going to be needed or used or how. Okay, so let's see here. Check in. No matter what game platform, like okay, let's have a good. Hoosier, in regards to TSS, nothing. Basically, similar stuff to what I'm talking about. Or did you have like? I mean, any game is going to have complications from time to time where you have to, close the app and reset your console or whatever, or restart it, not reset it. And a lot of people have said like, and I think that I'm still trying to figure out what's going on with the final Gonk mission. Kirsten, if you remember those Sonic races, I'm not going to go and say they were easy, but I got them done fairly easy. And if you remember, I remember Jay being pissed, being like, bro, how'd you get those done so quickly? Like, I know they're not super easy. And I do feel like I will have some hiccups or struggles getting them, but they're not a deterrent on any level. Like, I'm actually more terrified of the final boss of Resident Evil 3 than I am of those Sonic races. So much that I haven't even gone to look up a video for tips and tricks on how to beat that, just so I can get that done and be like, suck it, Robert, I got it done 2 years later. But I mean, it's one of those things that I just don't. Let's see here. It says, sometimes I had to restart the system. My controller kept vibrating. Huh, that's an unusual one. Certainly not game breaking though, which is good. Let's see. Occupate says, don't stop talking, Alex. This isn't his stream to control who can speak and who can't. What? I hope you judge or have a... Oh, so again, listen, Brad, best advice. Will Smith, Chacho. And what I mean by that is keep his name out your mouth. Not sure why you pride yourself on hovering around him. And sometimes days will go by and you don't have any interactions, but then any chance you have to go at him, you go at him. And if you've noticed, he's chilled out quite a bit. And I'd like to give a big shout out to Chacho for not being as impulsive. In fact, I've even seen him turn cheek a couple times and look the other way. Just saying. Let's see here. Let's see. I mean, what do you do on a remote island? Try to finish the TV island it belongs to. What do you do on a remote island? Oh, I see what you did there. Here's the thing. Back to the Final Gonk stuff. We, and when I say we, I do mean Kirsten and I. We did a fair amount of information seeking a couple of weeks ago. Basically it was kind of during that time where I was being told all my videos were misleading. And, anyways, long story short, we found the patch notes to when the Final Gonk missions were updated. And this is where it gets extra confusing for us because, like I said, we tried to track down information. And, I mean, what we found was it actually backed up my video, backed up everything I've been saying, backed up everything I thought I knew. But it still doesn't change the fact that it's not happening the same for other people. And that is that essentially I'm being told that an update has changed the order in which things need to be unlocked. That's quite possible. I'm not saying that it isn't. However, evidence points to the patch notes saying that it's not accurate, that I actually recorded that video after the update that changed the stuff happened. But what gets even more interesting is that people started saying, well, it must be an Xbox thing. It's got to be an Xbox thing. So we looked into that too. And we also even talked to Tyler about it, who played on an Xbox, did not have the same outcome. So in the end, there's an easy solution to fix it, right? The players who run into this, which seem to be like 1 out of 100. I mean, that's just a made up number, but it's not a lot, right? There's very few players. Tons of people are saying, oh, no, it's right there. It's fine. Everything was good for me. Some people are saying, no, it's not there. It's easy to figure out, though, because the menu tells you what you need to do in order to finish it. So I understand that there's some, but I don't know why. That's the biggest thing. I wish I knew why there's a difference between some people's experience and others. We thought it was Xbox, but we looked into patch notes. We looked into Tyler's experience, and it wasn't matching up with what everyone was saying. So I don't know if it has something to do with maybe some previous order stuff. There's some people that are saying they didn't find it, and then they realized they didn't follow the playlist order, and they followed the playlist order, and it worked for them. There's other people that are saying, I followed this to the T, in all caps, telling me, I did it, and it's not there, slamming down. So I don't have an exact answer for that, but from what we could figure out, and unfortunately, I don't have like a contact at the dev studio that could give me a for sure answer. But we looked into it, and from what we found, like, I made my video after those changes were made to the Final Gonk mission. So I don't know. And again, why it's not happening to everybody, I do not know. Alex, if you're unhappy, go watch somebody else. Go find somebody that's not boring, dude. That's all I can say to that. Fighting or talking trash or putting somebody down or actively bickering with somebody in the chat is not helping. And to be honest, I'm getting tired of seeing certain people pick on other people. I've already said something about it. We just need to move on and let it go. And for real, I mean this with all my heart. If I am boring you, please go find something that's not boring rather than complaining about it being boring. That's a real life lesson that anybody should take in, because you're not stuck here. No one's making you watch this. We'd love if it was entertaining, but if it isn't entertaining for you, find something that makes you happy. I have a motto, real life first. That applies to so many things other than just streaming over like real life first. Like if you're unhappy, no one's making you be here. If you don't like Chacho or something's happened with Chacho, no one's making you stay here. Like you can always block people. There's all sorts of solutions, but simply being vocal about being unhappy or this is boring, then find something that's not boring. Like, and if me addressing you personally makes you feel engaged and it's now not boring for you and you want to hang out now, then hang out. But find something that's not boring rather than complaining. That's my tip for you. Oh, snap. Y'all see that? Greg, you got to get a smokeless smoke bomb, bro. I'm getting sick and tired of choking up on your... just kidding. What up, Greg? Good to see you. Good to see you. Let's see here. Chacho has been more chill than usual for days, if not weeks. We all are human. We all have emotions. We all have ups and downs. But, Chacho has been a rather positive contributor, which is not a normal statement I would normally make, but he has been. And he's been pretty chill. In fact, I don't even see him talking at all for a while. So I have to scroll up quite a bit before I see anything. Anyways, let's see here. Nice. I put your... Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Bark, 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 bark. Wake up. Yeah, my voice, as I mentioned earlier, when I was 15, I had this weird desire to smoke cigarettes. And I smoked cigarettes until Reese was 6 months old. So Reese was born, and I was smoking and hand sanitizer and having I used to smoke in my car. I couldn't smoke in the car anymore. There was all these like changes because I wanted Reese to have a good chance. I didn't want him to be exposed to that, right? Like it was important to me. And my wife had quit too. She had smoked before. And so I'm assuming that's largely where my raspy or rattly comes from because I smoked for like 12, 13 years, something like that, roughly a pack a day. I was pretty generous. I was given, 4, 5, 6, 6. So I was probably 3/4 of a pack a day, but I physically consumed with people involved a pack a day. And, not knocking anybody who smokes, but there's definitely better ways to spend your money. That's all I'm going to say. Alex asked, did I play Ratchet and Clank? A long time ago, we did cover a Ratchet and Clank game. But traditionally, I have not been known for playing those. I did not play the new one, mainly because it was relatively labeled short and it was like top dollar price. So definitely not something that I was interested in then. I always said once it hit Bobby price, which is $20 or lower, I would definitely jump on it. Appreciate that. Grisama? Hopefully I'm saying that right. Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since I quit. In fact, maybe I've shared this story with you guys. Maybe I haven't. So a long time ago, I worked for a video production company. And that's where I started learning Photoshop, where I started learning how to edit. Like, I mean, everybody can figure out how to edit, clipping and things, slapping them again. But like transitions, certain practices, principles behind a good commercial or a good edit, whatever it was. And these guys that I worked for, they were the real deal. They made DVDs, they made authored all sorts of things for people, commercials. We actually shot some national commercials on my mom's private beach, where the whale watching video was filmed too. That went back east. It was for a title loan company. Did a bunch of stuff for them, and let's see here. So where was I? Just totally sidetracked myself, and I'm trying to remember where I was going with this. Oh, so every year, one of their contracts that they had was, I mean, we did like Chamber of Commerce stuff. We did like, Salem's, Vegas this. And even when the president, I was never part of this, but when the president came to Oregon and their crews for CNN or whatever weren't big enough to support the venue, they would often be one of the first people to be called to come and record and do things. So again, I never was a part of any of the presidential stuff, but the yearly 4th of July festival at Fort Vancouver in Washington. I mean, they have a huge stage. It's like Woodstock, right? Or like a huge outdoor venue. Huge, just grass and hills forever. And at the bottom of the hill, there's a giant amphitheater, huge screens on both sides, speakers, huge, right? And they do a huge fireworks show, and they have live bands. And I actually was part of that crew where every year we would go and set up, and I hated it. So I have a nervous thing, like a nervous system issue, and it's likely genetic. And my grandfather has had Parkinson's and stuff, and we're hoping that I'm not going to end up on that level. So far, I'm 45 years old, and I don't have any immediate signs, but I've also been really good about not going to the doctor, and no blood has been taken in a long time. Like, I don't get sick enough. I haven't broken it. There's been no need other than preventive, and I'm preventing going. So I'm doing my preventative care. It's just not the way you want me to. And 4th of July is also my wife and mine's anniversary. Not our marital, but our getting together anniversary. And I remember one particular year we wanted to go to the coast and I didn't want to work. And so I actually lied to my bosses and told them that I was going to a program to quit smoking. And the program was at the coast, so I wasn't going to be able to make it to the thing. And so I got this job because of my wife knowing this guy, and my wife felt obligated to not lie to him. So when I told this little white lie and it made it back to her, I swear to God, she picked up the phone and called the place at the beach and signed me up for a quitting smoking session. And we had talked about it before, but like, I wasn't really sure. Like, in my head, I wanted to quit smoking, but my body wanted to keep smoking, and the habit of the action and just the daily, okay, I just need a break. I need to go smoke. I need to get away from whatever this is. Like, I like, a lot of me didn't want to give that up. But I knew I needed to. And so we ended up going to the coast, and I went to the appointment, and it was actually acupuncture, which some people are really familiar with. Some people don't believe in it. All I can tell you is she asked me about 20 questions. I laid on a table with my shirt off and on my stomach, and she hit me with a bunch of needles all throughout my back and around my ears specifically too. And so for a while I had, probably 50 to 100 needles like sticking out of me, and they had to sit there for so long, right? And listen, when I went there, I was super skeptical. I wasn't sure this was going to work, but because my wife had done it, it was actually at a spa. My mom was a massage therapist at the spa, and that's how we originally even found out about this program. And so like all this stuff around me was like, it was all based on a lie, but here I am involved with all these people that know all these people around me, all these family members and stuff. And so I went, and I remember like, I when I walked out of that place, I almost couldn't walk. And it was the weirdest feeling. Like, if you've ever drank a few beers, or if you've ever had some wine or any kind of alcohol, like, I wasn't drunk feeling, but I was very woozy and like and according to her, that was like stored toxins leaving my body. And so I'm supposed to like let this happen for like 48 hours or whatever, and then return again for another session. And so that we did that one on Friday. Sunday, I went back in for the second session, and I got to be honest, I didn't need it. I didn't need it. There was a total of 3 sessions. So you did one, and then you wait like 24 hours, 48 hours, and then you did the second one, and then you waited a week. And the reason for the third one wasn't so much that it was like trying to make sure your body was cool with quitting smoking. It was actually to help the adjustment of your body. So for me, like obviously I was, inhaling a ton of nicotine and tobacco every day. Your body starts to kind of look for that, and when you don't have it, you can go through a range of emotions, from eating more to being angry to needing to run. Like sometimes people find replacement behaviors for that stuff. And so part of the third session was to make sure that everything was cool and that like I wasn't yelling at people and angry and whatever, and if I had any cravings, she could revisit some of those areas. And I mean, it's mind-boggling to me that there's, in theory, these points that represent your habits and what you do and what you like. And like, it was very interesting to me how it all happened. And I've never had so I went in, right? I did it Friday night, 2, 3, 4 hours after I got done. That calling to go outside was there. And so I went outside and I had 2 smokes left in a pack that I had saved, thinking, oh, I have just emergency use, whatever, cool down, whatever. I pulled one out and I fired it up and I took one drag and it tasted so terrible. Like, I don't know what she did, but she basically told my taste buds, you don't like that anymore. And that's ultimately, I think, the basis of what she did to me. She somehow told my taste buds I didn't like that taste and flavor anymore, and then accommodated my body by trying to help with the change of that by hitting other points and calming me or whatever, This was a long time ago. Reese is 18 now. He was 6 months old. So that was 17 and a half years ago that I did that. I've not once thought about going back. I don't miss it. I don't. And honestly, when I smell a cigarette, I get really turned off. I'm like, ugh. Like it instantly is bad to me. And nothing personal, anybody out there that smokes. I have friends that smoke and stuff. I'm not a fan of it. And for what it's worth, like I said, this was a long time ago, 17 and a half years or whatever. It cost $100 for those 3 sessions. I mean, smokes were like $3 a pack back then. So, a pack a day. So it was probably, more than a month's worth of smokes. But then you start doing the math long term and it's like, whoa, that's such a huge savings. Such a huge savings. I mean, I guess 3 times, 30 would be 90. So it's probably pretty close to about a month smoking. I don't know if those programs still exist. I don't know if anybody's out there that, is interested. I don't know. Justin, if you know anybody, I could probably refer you to the lady that did it. But other than that, anybody who's not local probably wouldn't benefit much from my information. But, acupuncturists are all over the world. So, if you're hurting, if you got back problems, if you get smoke, there's a lot of things that acupuncture can help with. And for sure, worth trying. Not going to say it's guaranteed or anything like that. But, I mean, it's been 17 and a half years since I've smoked over 3 sessions of, And again, first one was the one that like did the trick. The other 2 were to sort of accommodate my body and my mood post stopping. So kind of crazy. Crazy. All right. So, hey guys, I've gone crazy telling stories. I've actually covered every single thing I wanted to, except for the final, which is Patreon shouts. I've said this for many years. Patreon may be revamped or removed. So fun facts, Patreon takes a 2% chunk. Google takes a 45% chunk. So honestly, like mathematically speaking, when you guys give me a 99-cent membership, 44 cents of that goes to Google. When you guys do a super chat, $5, $2.25 goes to Google. It's crazy to think that that's how it works. And so Patreon was sort of a counter to that when I originally started it. And it was, if you've heard me say the words, it's a way for you to directly support the creator. And that's true. It is. It's a way to directly support us with the minimal amount. I mean, minus sending me money in the mail, which I have gotten dollar bills from people thanking me, or like, a trophy guide cost $30 and you did more than a trophy guide. So here's $30 because I would have spent this on. I've had people, I've gotten a couple $100 of cash in the mail over the years. Over 10 years, that's not a lot, but it's happened. In fact, I think I still have $30 that was sent to us after watching an unboxing video that I was supposed to go and buy a Lego set on behalf of these people. And I don't, they never asked for any kind of recognition in the video or anything like that. I just never took the $30 and went and bought a set to build with Reese. He'd kind of been over it at that point. But it's interesting how the money can vary from place to place. And so I hate to sound like, you should or shouldn't, or, do anywhere it's easy to support if and when you are wanting to be above and beyond. That is cool. And for me to tell you where to do it, it's you get different things in different places. So, Patreon has been a nice staple for a long time, but I don't talk about it hardly at all. And as a result, we see more people falling off than we do jumping on. To be honest with you, a lot of the reason why I continued to do the game breaks all last year was because, there was supporters that were pushing me at like $200 or so a month for Patreon shout outs and things like that. We're down to like $66. And so it's been a huge change there too. And when I was talking to my wife about it the other night, I was like, I think I'm just going to revamp YouTube and put the same types of deals like shout outs and stuff, like have a $5 and a $10 or whatever, different stuff. Right. But then we started talking about the split, and it's like, part of me is like, you know what? Why don't we just get rid of it all and not do that at all anymore? And part of me is like, no, people like the shout outs and I want to give them an option for that. But then I'm like, I don't necessarily want to let YouTube have, basically 50% of everything you guys are being generous with. Like, Google does not need 50% of your super chats. Like, let's be honest, they don't. Their ad program is already horrendous. And the fact that they just made it even more horrendous last month is terrible. That was another reason I didn't talk about this morning too. Split for YouTube forever, as far as I've known, has been 60-40, which is still in the favor of the creator. But I mean, you're getting 100% of your ad revenue and then 40% of the ad placement revenue. So you're literally getting 140% off of each ad that's implemented. That's a great policy. And now you're wanting more. You want 45%. Like, I'm surprised YouTube and Google hasn't just shut me down for talking about it right now. Like, nope, you're done. They're just, the policies seem to be changing, and they're not necessarily in the favor of the creators. So again, like, and my we're up to 82 members now, thanks to Friday's excursion. So we're definitely up there. But I mean, out of that 82 members, right? Like, you'd think that'd be $82, right? No, I think the revenue, I mean, I can even go look and tell you what it is. It's like in the 30s, 40s maybe. I haven't looked since it's been 85, so maybe it's more than that now. All right, I'm refreshing. 84 total members. Members gained 41 in the last 30 days. And it does say revenue $55. So 84, 55. Mathematically, that doesn't make the split from what is being explained to me. So that's better, right? That's not 40%. That's not even 40. So, which that's the highest it's ever been. I mean, not only is the value itself higher, but the percentage like that. So maybe they've changed some things. That's the thing too, that they change it all the time. You never know when it's going to be good or bad. I have noticed that a bunch of you guys have been supporting the merchandise though too. So that's pretty awesome. So there's all sorts of ways you guys can support. And right now we're focusing on the Patreon for the moment, but like I said, that could be subject to change in the future. I mean, for a while I for real had two different people that were donating $100 a month on Patreon. And honestly, one of those people did that for like 22 months before they dropped it to 50. And I mean, some people have like, some people have kept the lights on around here. Definitely generous and amazing. And, you know, but with Patreon sort of falling off, it makes me wonder, is it because I'm not talking about it anymore? Or is it because it's just not a desirable thing anymore? And there's also the concept too of like creating new tiers and new content based on that. So like if you are a patron member, there might be extra content for you. What that means or looks like, I've never been able to hone it in. Like I don't want to create a pay gate where people have to pay in order to watch me. I don't like that concept. Bonus stuff even seems, you know, I've thought about releasing certain videos or content to members only first, and then like 24 hours later or something like that, releasing it to the public so you get like early access. But you know how hard that is to track that stuff? I mean, YouTube doesn't have a schedule and then release, you know, schedule now for this and then release later for that. They don't have that yet. If they do, I'm not familiar with it. And hopefully it's coming. But all of that aside, patreon.com/happythumbsgaming is a place where you can support the creator directly with the most minimal amounts of grubbiness. And as you guys may remember, we do have a couple of different tiers. We've got, you know, one that gets you on the Happy Thumbs Namer Wall of Fame. And I did notice this morning, it looks like I have one addition that I need to make that made the Patreon list here, but has not been added to the wall yet. So my bad on being a slacker face for that. I just now saw it. Mega Beard! Bro, you already got a shout out. Get out of here. You can't be here anymore. We already talked about you. Go. No, I'm just kidding. Good to see you, man. We did, though. We did talk about you earlier. For reals. We were talking about shorts and you providing information and analytics and things and trying to spin the thinking into a broader, instead of my narrow tunnel vision, Brian vision. Good to see you, man. Hope all is well. I was like, man, we haven't talked in like a couple weeks. And shout out to Mega Beard. So, anyways, good to see you, man. Let's see here. Tomorrow's the day for the shorts to see if it's actually worthwhile. Well, I mean, I don't know how you think it'll change. I mean, here's my thought. Like, if your retro views are going to be accommodated with ads now, which is impossible because they're not going to pay you for ads that didn't ever run. So the majority of views that have been had won't necessarily change anything. It's only from today or tomorrow moving forward. Is it actually tomorrow? I thought it was like the 2nd or 3rd, honestly. But regardless, it's in the next couple of days for sure. But like still with me, like real quick, let's go look at mine. I uploaded that one Apex short that I put a lot of effort and thought into and was hoping it would do well. It had 1,000 views in the first 10 minutes. And since then, it's gotten 1,000 views and 1,039 views. And that was put up on December 15th. So as soon as it hit the public, I was like, yes, this is going to rule. And then it literally like jumped off a cliff. Like it climbed the mountain and then yee. And like when I look at the analytics right now, even, which it's still the headliner post on my community page. So it's still getting some regular traffic. I've gotten 4 views in the last 48 hours. And 50% of those views, so 2 of them came from channel pages, and 2 of them came from the shorts feed. And it says here, estimated revenue, I've made 22 cents. Woo-hoo-hoo! 22 cents, bro. I made, oh wait, hold on. Let's see. Let's go lifetime. Where is it? So 23 cents. I made 23 cents of it. So 22 cents in the last 28 days and 23 cents. I mean, I guess it's not quite, I mean, it's a month and a half. So it's only barely like 40 days old. But, you know, 23 cents. That's, I mean, I got 4 hours worth of work for 20. And you should see the graph too. It's all. Oh, man. You know, not necessarily a representation of what all shorts would be for sure, but definitely not it didn't hit that viral clip that we were kind of hoping it would to encourage me to do more. Now, full disclosure here too. Since you and I have talked, I have at least recorded one particular incident that will likely be made into a short. I don't know how to look. I don't know what the crap I'm doing. I've literally watched about 15 shorts in my whole life. So I don't really know. I don't really know how, I mean, I'm not a new age editor. I'm not like, I mean, that was a stretch adding those clips and splicing in the memes and stuff. Like, I don't have a meme glossary or an index that has a bunch of stuff. Like, I don't have assets for any of that. And I know that over time, one would build up a pretty big asset pile, but ultimately not. But, anyway, speaking of assets, let's go back to Patreon and finish this up real quick. I got sidetracked again, and we're at the 2-hour mark. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. I got to drain the tank. All right, big shout out to all my $5 and up Patreon supporters, which again, list has gotten a little shorter, but still, I love you all. Much love to all the names on this list, which again are $5 and upsies. And if I've somehow missed your name, I greatly apologize. The filtering system was really weird today. I used it and it actually gave me everybody that had ever done anything. So it was like I was trying to pick and choose, like, and then I'd click like the current or active, and then it would get rid of my original filters. And so it was like, man, it was showing everybody, every tier. Like, oh man. So I was having troubles with it. So again, I apologize if somehow I missed, but, let's see here. Tony has a meeting. Peace out, Tony. Thanks for stopping by. Greg's out of here too. What? Get out of here, Greg. None of that ninja smoke either, bro. Let's see here. All right, so caught up there. All right, I got $10 and up Patreon supporters as well. And these are in no particular order, just kind of however they're displayed here. There's a giant cutie on the screen right now, like for realsies. All right, we've got at the top of the list, we got Dougie Fresh 613. Thank you so much for your Patreon support. You've been one of the earlier supporters, and you're still supporting. So much love to you, Dougie. It's been nice seeing you pop in and out of streams lately. I'd love to get you on stream one of these days, but I'm not playing Fortnite, so we got to find another game for you to join in on. Maybe you could carry me in Returnal. I had not even thought about that. If y'all remember when I was playing it, he came in and was like, me. I'm so good at this game. I got the platinum in like 12 hours. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you can carry me in that game. Because it's 2-player now. It wasn't 2-player when we were talking. We haven't talked about playing 2-player. Tude was going to actually join me. But to be honest with you, it just never happened. And I don't even know if he has any interest in that anymore or not. But let me know, Dougie. Much love. Thank you for your continued support. Next up, we got Smallville 2011. Thank you so much, Andrew. Be nice to see you, man. We saw you not long ago, and I know you're out there lurking. However, we did bust out 30 memberships the other day, and I don't believe your name got popped up. However, you may be a member already still. I'd have to go check the list because I can't see it here, and you haven't been on stream for a while. But much love, Andrew. Hopefully all is well in your world, and again, would love to hear or / see you at some point. Next up, we got Michael Cosmic. Thank you so much, Michael, for your continued support. You, too, have been one of the OG supporters. And, every month I'm always surprised to see the same names. Because, some people are generous, some people are super generous. And, being a supporter for multiple years at the $10 tier is definitely considered like super supporter. So again, thank you so much, Michael, for your support. Much love. Hopefully everything is well on your side of the globe. Last but not least, at the $10 and up, we've got Bonnie Miller. Thank you so much, Bonnie, for your support. Again, I'd love to see you too. It's been a minute. Sometimes I wonder if both of those or all four of those have maybe forgot they even have this. There. I mean, $10 to some may be a lot of money, and 10 might be easily missed, right? So regardless of the status, I so appreciate all of your support. And, I feel bad if you've forgotten about it, but still, it's going to good use. Appreciate you. All right, so that is all of the Patreon stuff. So we are officially done with that, which actually brings me to the end of the list. And I've got nothing else on the agenda. But I definitely would, let's see here. Definitely would love to answer some questions or interact. I don't have any pictures, but I think it was probably hoped that I would discuss this. And again, I don't have any pictures of it. But our almost everyday viewer, Ben, has sent me some pictures of, he's been working on, looks like I believe it's the Hulk Buster. It's an Iron Man. It's a big suit. It's like a giant Lego set. It looks really cool. Does not. Oh, it is done. It is done. So it's the Iron Man. Let me see here. He's got the little tag under it and everything. Iron Man Mark 44 Hulkbuster. Boom. Nailed it. So I was right. All right. Ben retweeted. Let's see here. Jess has, let's see here. What's this? Oh, snap. One of the devs from the Power Wash Sim liked the fact that I got ours downloaded and ready for next Monday stream, which I haven't announced the name of it. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. So, you know, in the past, I used to have like, you know, Watch Dogs Wednesdays or whatever, right? Like I had all these things. Right? I got a new one. So Power Wash Sim is coming back for Mostly Clean Mondays. So stupid. So stupid. Mostly Clean Mondays. All right. So now that we got that out of the way too, what else we got? No, another. Wait a minute. Is this an? No, okay. I ordered some stuff for Reese back at the beginning of January, and we were told it wasn't going to be here till March or April. We still don't have it yet, so it's likely still going to be March or April. But I just got an email from them, and I thought maybe, just maybe, it was a notification telling me that the product had been shipped. But nope, it has not. Let's see here. What up, FBI? Good to see you. Adam says, Brian, thanks for the game break. You and your family have a good rest of your day. Great month of February. Thanks. Big hugs for Adam. Big hugs. High fives, dabs. I don't know if I have any other upper body. Hey, double high fives. Patty cakes. What else I got? Trying to think. Let's see here. Yeah, yawning, dang it. Well, go to sleep, Chacho. Get out of here. Oh, boy. Anybody got any questions or anything before I shut this bad boy down? Keep in mind, we will be back at it tomorrow for Goat Sim, hopefully Platinum. I mean, I got quite a few of the trophies done, but there's going to be a lot. So there, I wasn't really using the guide, at least the first hour or two of the stream last week. I'm going to probably just start picking off trophies right away, like trying to be specific to the area I'm in, so I'm not loading back and forth, you know. But eventually I should be able to pick off all of the trophies, and then it'll just be quests left. And then once I get the quest done, that should be platinum. So, yeah. Raised, you have my permission this one time to post your link. Post it now! Don't make me go find it and post it. Do us a favor and post it. I can't see, you know, and that's another thing that drives me nuts about YouTube. Oh, it's back! It's back! Ha! So for a while, I guess the admin of the channel were not able to go to users' channel. So I was not able to, like, if somebody was messing about and I thought it was a dupe account or anything, I couldn't click the three dots and choose go to user's channel to go check and see. And I remember at one point, I think Kirsten and I even had like a total argument, which like had like screenshots and everything posted back and forth. And she was like, well, I can do it. And I was like, well, good for you. I can't. Like, and we've also found that there's some other complications with my account where, like, for example, I can't super chat. I can't join as a member on another person's channel. There's a bunch of things. I'm trying to think of the other things too. There's some just weird things. And it's because of the classification of my channel type. It's a, I don't remember, business. There's some sort of classification for it. And as a result, I mean, I could switch to this other one, which would give me access to these things I don't have, but it also takes away things that I would like to have available. So it's kind of like you got to pick one or the other, and I've chose this one. But so some things don't line up the same, and in this particular case, it definitely does. So I was able to go and post Ray's channel there. That link should take you there. The first link for me, and also it looks like she posted hers as well. So it might be the brand account. I don't remember the terminology for it, but yeah, there's something one way or the other. The account doesn't play with all features. What's the other one, Kirsten? There's another big one that we found, and it was like super dumb. But for some reason, it doesn't work. I'm looking through, trying to figure it out what it was. I don't remember. Don't remember. Sarah, I just found y'all. What is your favorite Lego game? Great question. My favorite Lego game is Lego City Undercover. And reason for that is that I just love all the pop culture and references, like the storyline. I like Marvel, I like DC, I like those things, but for some reason I really found that one to stand out. Like I really like Dimensions too, but I still find that like I feel like I laughed and enjoyed City more than the others. It's also a lot longer than a fair amount of the Lego games. There's some now that are definitely, I mean, Lego Star Wars and Dimensions both take the cake, I think. But ultimately, yeah. Uh-oh. DM on Facebook, huh? Womp womp. What's this? Toddler. So, question. And I mean, probably better off stream, but are you at all... Are you at all concerned about like okay, so let me just say it like this. I know that in the past there have been recommendations for people who like stickers on their cars to not post those stickers on their cars because there are some groups of people that will use those as information. And what I mean by that is that they're dirty, gross, no good people that could use it for saying, oh, well, you have 2 sons and a daughter and your son plays baseball. And, you know, and like, I don't know how true any of this is, but people say that that can actually lead to habits that would lead to potential places of where you would be, to potential, you know, detrimental, bad things happening with these people being able to sort of track or find or follow you, right? And no, that somebody couldn't just follow you. I just, you know, I always wonder about stuff like that. And like, you know, we've been pretty adamant about not having a lot, like Reese had a lot of friends over in the days that we would record Lego stuff. There were quite a few parents that when asked permission, if it was okay, if they could be in our videos, they were like, nah, we'd rather not. We don't want our kid in videos and stuff. So, so I just wondered too, like, how everybody feels about like all that personal stuff going out there. Cause I know too, like today's worlds are, you know, I mean, like I've been mentioning, there's sort of a new phenomenon of, you know, this last 3 months, I've gotten more phone calls from people who, you know, that maybe I've known a little bit through, or maybe didn't know at all. And I mean, like people just call me, hey, Brian, this is so-and-so. How are you doing? I'm like, who is this? And they're like, oh, I found your number off the internet and I'm a fan of Happy Thumbs. And like, I mean, it catches me off guard because I'm like, oh, but I mean, there's definitely like I mean, I'm public, right? I'm very public personally, but my family stuff is a little more protected. Like you guys have seen Jillian, but she's not on all the time. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's certain things that you guys know, but there's a lot of things that you guys don't know. And, you know, I always wonder about that stuff in today's world. Yeah. And so like in your case, like identification is, yeah, you know, but I see all that stuff and I don't, I'd be lying if I said I didn't worry a little bit about some of that. And you know, hopefully everybody's protected and cool. And I'm sure you got some answers for some people trying to knock on the door too. Oh boy. Let's hear Adam. Can you and I video chat on this? You know, maybe. I mean, we're kind of doing that right now in a roundabout way. You know, lately, that's kind of what I was just saying too. Like I've actually had a bunch of phone calls come in at them, you know, some of them they're all flattering. It's all awesome, right? Like I could have much worse problems. But I mean, and so far all of them have been positive, like wanting to thank me or have a question for me or something like that. And you know, most of the time it's pretty calm and cool. But there's also like, look, we were talking like, I don't remember what it was, 3, 4, 5 days ago about this, because I actually got a phone call from somebody and it was like probably just misunderstood, but the message was basically kind of like, you know, you need to call me. And I was like, kind of, when somebody tells me to do something, I'm much more likely to not do what they're telling me to do. It's just my oppositional defiance that I have. And yeah, you know, anyways, fun fact for you guys too. I still to this day do not rock. Discord is the only messenger or app that I actually have on my phone. I don't have Messenger. I don't interact with. I don't use Facebook Messenger very often. It used to be like my primary source, but for the most part, it's like Twitter or even YouTube now for most of my communications. And I sort of prefer it that way. It's hard to track 20 different places too. That was one of my reasons for, like, I was a Skype guy. I didn't want to be on Discord and Skype. It seemed redundant, but I didn't want to leave Skype because that's where all my comms were. I don't want to. So, like, you know, it's tough tracking everything. Definitely. Or a clip of that flatulence. That was solicited, though. I requested that. That was a direct request, and I appreciate that being fulfilled. All right, so I think that's it. I'm checking some emails to see if there's any other like last minute like information or sales or anything that I should be spreading the word of. Man, I see Hogwarts Legacy again is on sale. If you buy the disc version at Best Buy, you can save $10 on the purchase. It looks like the deluxe is $79.99 versus $89.99, and the regular is $69.99 versus $79.99. That's assuming you guys have Best Buys near you. Not everybody does, obviously, but I'm just putting that out there because I know that's a really popular game that a lot of people are wanting to get in on. And to be honest, I'd rather see you guys pay $10 less than $10 more. Not that it affects me, or I'm not trying to take money away from devs or anything, but I mean, if you can get the game that you want to play for cheaper, why wouldn't you, right? Hey, quick question too. Have any of you guys ever eaten, and I'm probably going to say it wrong, but here, I'll actually just post a link. Boy, this is a freaking long link. Yeah, there's no way. This is like a prospect. Yeah, this is like a targeting link. Can I refresh this and get a smaller one? No. Yeah, it's like total like Facebook ID and everything. All right, I won't link, but so there's a company. It's RAAKA. I want to say my guess would be it's Raka. It could be Raka, could be Raka. I mean, it's RAAKA. They make all sorts of treats. One that's been popping up in my feed lately is this raspberry waffle cone. That sounds delicious. It says jammy, punchy, and undeniably pretty. Our crisp chocolate waffle cone cookie set in a pink raspberry infused vegan white chocolate. The first bite will make you swoon. I want to try these, but you got to buy a box of 10, and they're like $4 a piece basically. So it's like $38 to get one of these. And I don't know that I'm even going to like one of them, let alone 10 of them. So I don't want to spend that kind of money. But let's see here. Another good sweets place is DeBrand's chocolate. Well, listen, I'm not like I got plenty of sweets in my life. I'm not looking for anything new. The way this was kind of pitched to me, it was almost like a healthier treat. I mean, it is all gluten-free, vegan-free, which my wife has a gluten intolerance. She's not celiac or anything crazy, but she definitely has some digestive issues with gluten. And I seem to at times too. And it's all USDA, organic, non-GMO. So it's got like a lot of labels on it that make it say that it's not healthy because it's got sugar and stuff in it, but healthier based on the ingredients. And they look delicious, like they really do. Um, they actually look like something you'd find at like like if I'm being honest, they don't look like something you'd find at like a 7-Eleven. They look like something you'd find at like a cannabis shop. They just look like one of those high-end, like edible type of treats. That's not the appeal for me. It just looks friggin' delicious. Reka raspberry waffle cone. That's what I'm dealing with. Um, I want to try them, but I don't even know where I can get them. Oh, here's all the ingredients. Oh, there's a lot of sugar in there. A lot of sugar. Organic cane sugar, organic cocoa butter, organic coconut milk powder, organic waffle cone, cane sugar, applesauce, which also has sugar. Let's see here. What else is in there? Huh. See, what's the total carbs? 13 grams. What's the fat? Total fat 12 grams. Calories 170 per serving. So one little thing about this big is 170 calories. Total sugar is 9 grams of sugar. So they're definitely not on the healthy side, but I'm still keeping them up because I want to talk to the wife about them. I'm hoping that, like, you know, Natural Grocers or somebody around here sells that. It's a brand I've never heard of before. And everybody, all the reviews are 4.7, 5, 5, 5, 5. You know, it's like the best thing I've ever had. I found this in BKLYN Larder and just came back to order a case. This bar slaps. That's what one of the reviews says. Best white chocolate I've ever had with creamy raspberry in it. My first experience with a rack out product is a success. Raspberry waffle cone. Sweet, but not overly so. The waffle cone part is surprisingly crunchier than what I expected. I'd give it 1 more star, but I need to try it with ice cream first. Not bad on its own, but it does beg to be paired with something, maybe tea, coffee, or hot chocolate. Now I'm hungry, man. Way to go, Brian. Way to go. All right, let's see here. David, what's up? Let's see here. Am I playing High Five Rush? We did on Friday last week. If I cannot field a team this Friday, that will certainly be the replacement game. I'm talking about potentially playing it on Tuesdays for a couple of weeks, but that has not been confirmed yet. I wanted to take a little bit of time off, and time off to me doesn't mean time off, period. It just means on the days that I would normally be streaming or project work, that I'm doing something different. Thursday, I'm actually not going to be in the office at all. I'm going to Portland, and I'm going to have my car worked on and probably go see my dad. And hoping Reese goes with me and that we can go pal around up in Portland and go do whoever knows what. Maybe go do some go-kart racing or something. Like, I'm down to go do something with him. It's just a matter of whether he wants to break free from his computer and come hang. $30, that's highway robbery for a single box of cookies. That's pretty sus, bro. So back to okay, so cookie plug. Let me get a link for you. I think it's just cookieplug.com. Yeah, this place is wild. And I won't lie, I about fell over when I heard $5 a cookie. So definitely check out the link, the cookieplug.com that I just posted there. You know, getting 14 cookies for $35 definitely still was overpriced, but I think Justin and his family would also agree with me that totally worth it. Totally worth it. The cookies, like, you literally, so they have these cookie cutters, and you put it over the top of the cookie and you smash it down, and it cuts the cookie into 4 pieces. Obviously, you could use a knife and cut it into 4 pieces too, but it's just like a little special cookie cutter for it. You literally can eat 1/4 of that and feel pretty good. So, I mean, one cookie, they're so big, they're sort of like multiple cookies. So, although still pretty expensive. Ooh, there's a store near me that sells them. What? Did you use the cookie finder or something? Did you use the finder? Let's see here. Do they have? I hadn't even got that far, to be honest with you. I just saw the ad and popped it up. And let's see here. Store locator. Look at that. Dragon's on it. Let's see. 97306. Oh, not 206. What the crap? What? So Whole Foods carries them. Whole Foods carries them. Lolly and Pops carries them. That's at the mall that I was just at, where the Lego store is and where Cheesecake Factory is too. So Whole Foods has them. There's a couple places over at the coast where my mom lives too, which we might be going this weekend. The Chocolate Frog. I've never heard of that place. There's a place called Urban Block, though, that is literally 5 miles away from my house. Where the crap is this? It's off Commercial. Let me see where this is. I'm all curious. So it's off Kearney. It's off. That's Mich. What is right there? Okay, there's the AM/PM. Commercial Street. Oh. Oh. Oh, this is right by my house. I mean, it's 6 miles away, but this is right by my house. I know exactly where this is. That's so weird. Okay, so this store that it's at, oh my God. Okay, so this is so weird. Wait a minute. Okay, now I'm remembering why I know why it's so weird. So get this. Okay, so there's this restaurant. It's called Kwan's. It's a Chinese restaurant. It's been here for as long as I can remember, at least 40 years, right? 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, it was like right during COVID, the owner died. And COVID was like full blown, and they shut it down, and they left their gift shop open, and that was it. And this place was crazy though. This place was crazy. All throughout high school and everything, there was all these rumors going around that like they had recording devices under your tables. So if you went there, you had to be super quiet or talk about like, high school kids, they'd be drinking, they'd be smoking, they'd be doing all sorts of stuff they're not eligible to be doing, but they're still doing it. And there was belief that this place had microphones that would listen to your conversations, and somehow people would get in trouble. I don't know where that came from, but my wife, she'll tell you too, like, oh my God, I never went to Kwan's because they would record your conversation. I was like, no, they wouldn't. So Kwan's was shut down, and there's a building right next door to it that was built like right before all of this happened. And it's same parking lot, and the parking lot's super old. So they must have like sublet this other building or whatever. And so this block, instead of just being a restaurant and a bunch of parking, had a new building up front. That's where the candy was sold. Well, when the owner died and they shut everything down, they ended up selling that lot, and it's all been knocked over. So it's not there anymore. So I went to look. I was like, oh, I know right where this. And I started visualizing the little tiny store that they built right in front of it. And then I look at it, and it's all temporarily unavailable. I'm like, what? And I remember it got demoed. They knocked it over. I don't even think it's there anymore. I got to go run some errands, though, so I'm going to go check. I got to go take that vinyl wrap back, and I got to go, I don't know, do some other stuff. But word up, buttercups. Much love to you all. What did I miss? Mega Bear Brian just broke 5 blocks. Just went 5 miles. Yes, but yes. That's still same difference. So good. Fatty cookies. Yes. Why do I always get jump scared in my game? I don't know. Ruben, what up? Welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks again, Brian. Can I have one more round of hugs, dabs, high five, fist bumps for the road? You know it. Boof, 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 boof. Boom. Nailed it. All right, run some errands and spend $500 on sugar. Listen, I still have a PS5 for sale, so maybe they'll trade me a PS5 for some sugars. Can't hurt to ask. I almost traded it for a set of wheels not long ago. So raised, you better hit me up. Otherwise, I'm going to end up dispersing it. I've been trying to get rid of it. I'm like, just get it out of here. Now they're everywhere, too. You can buy them at Best Buy and everywhere, all sorts of places. It's crazy. It'll probably be vintage. I'll be one of those guys that has like a console that was never opened 30 years after its release. Like sometimes people have those Nintendos. Like, who has an NES that's never been opened? Well, there's people that do. I'm going to be that guy that has a random PS5 that was never opened. Just watch. All right, guys. Much love. Thank you for hanging out all day with me. It's normally a 90-minute or less ordeal on game breaks, and I'm at 2.5 hours, so I definitely went longer than I expected. My tank is full. It is in need of draining. Not that you asked for that information, but I definitely got to shut it down now. Otherwise, I'm going to end up with I'm going to end up like my grandfather with a wet spot on my pants. And I'll have to tell myself I'm the only person that's peed on me that's gotten away with it, right? All right. Much love to you all. You guys know the drill. Head on over to any of our social medias if you haven't done already. Please check out happythumbsgaming.com. And again, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you guys enjoyed this January game break where we hung out, talked about all sorts of stuff, made fun of me, and all the stuff in between. So hopefully I'll see you tomorrow for Goat Sim Platinum. And as for me, that's going to do it. As always, until next time.